In the soft quiet of the night, when the world settles into stillness and the mind drifts gently between wakefulness and dreams, there's a certain kind of story that feels made for this hour. A story woven from mist and moonlight, from ancient winds and forgotten worlds. A story carried across centuries, whispered by firesides, spoken in the hush of snow-covered forests, and passed from traveler to traveler beneath the dim northern sky. Tonight, you will drift into one of those stories, a journey into the complete world of Norse mythology, told slowly, gently, and with the kind of calm that lets your thoughts soften and unwind. Before there were gods with their great halls and shining spears, before there were humans walking upon the earth, before the sun and moon crossed the sky in eternal rhythm, there was simply quiet. A quiet so deep, so vast, that it almost feels like a held breath across the fabric of time. It is into this quiet that you will step now, easing into the beginning of mythology shaped by ice, fire, darkness, and ancient imagination. As you listen, you may allow your eyes to grow heavy. Let your breath slow. Let this world unfold around you like a soft blanket, wrapping you in its calm. In the north, far beyond the warm lands where rivers run freely and green fields sway, there existed a culture that faced long winters, fierce seas, and nights that stretched longer than the day itself. In that environment, people turned to stories not only for entertainment, but for understanding. Stories helped them explain the strange rhythms of the natural world, the unpredictable storms, the shifting seasons, the mystery of life and death. These tales were not merely told, they were lived. The people of the ancient north felt the presence of their gods in the crack of thunder, in the whisper of the wind along the fjords, in the gentle glow of the aurora. To hear Norse mythology is to glimpse the world through their eyes, wide, thoughtful, resilient, and deeply connected to nature. Tonight, the telling of these stories begins not with action or noise, but with an invitation, a peaceful step into a cosmos unlike any other. You will not rush through battles or chase after heroic feats. Instead, you will wander slowly, observing, breathing, learning, sinking into the myth as though it were a warm, glowing ember in a dark room. You will meet gods, giants, spirits, creatures, and forces older than time, but they will approach you not as frightening figures, but as gentle shapes emerging from fog, each with something quiet to share. Imagine for a moment that you are seated beside a calm northern shore. The water is still, reflecting the deep blues of the evening sky. A cool breeze moves softly against your skin, carried with a faint scent of pine and distant snow. In the far distance, mountains rise in soft silhouettes, their peaks brushed with silver light. This is the atmosphere in which Norse stories thrive, silent, grounded, and filled with the presence of something ancient. If you listen closely, if you truly settle into this moment, you might feel as though the land itself is speaking. It speaks of beginnings, of the forces that shaped everything, and of the delicate balance that binds the 9 realms together. The people who first told these stories lived close to the earth. They worked with their hands, sailed across unpredictable seas, and faced the world with courage and humility. In the long winter nights, when darkness lasted for hours, families gathered around the warm glow of a hearth. Flames crackled softly. Children leaned against their mothers or fathers. Elders spoke with slow, rhythmic voices. And the stories they told, the ones passed from one generation to the next, became mythology we know today. These myths were not written down for centuries. They were preserved through memory, voice, and tradition. Because of this, listening to them now feels like participating in something ancient, something human, something shared. As this journey begins, allow yourself to release any tension you've been carrying. There is nothing you need to analyze, nothing you need to study, nothing you must remember. The story will wash over you gently, flowing at a pace meant to relax and soothe. If your mind wanders, that is perfectly fine. If you begin to drift towards sleep, that too is welcome. Norse mythology was made to be heard in the dark, to comfort, to guide, to connect, to inspire quiet reflection. You will soon learn of the great emptiness before creation, of realms born from frost and flame, of gods who rose from the void seeking meaning and order. You will hear their struggles, their triumphs, their wisdom, and their flaws. Yet none of these tales will be presented with urgency or harshness. Instead, they will unfold the way snow falls upon a silent field, slowly, delicately, layer upon layer, until the world feels soft and transformed. For now, simply breathe. Let the calm settle around you like settling dust in a sunbeam. Let your thoughts drift like leaves upon a gentle river. In this space you are safe. You are warm. You are here to listen, to wander, to explore an ancient world crafted from imagination and quietly handed across centuries. Soon, you will step into the very beginning of creation. But for this moment, just rest. Feel the anticipation not as excitement, but as a soft glow within you. The story is ready to begin its journey through the 9 realms, and you are ready to follow, slowly, peacefully, as though walking through a dream. Before creation, before the rise of gods or the shaping of realms, there existed a stillness so profound that it feels almost impossible to imagine. Not darkness, not light, not silence in the sense we know it, but something deeper, something untouched, something waiting. This was a great void, an endless expanse known to the ancient Norse as Ginnungagap. If you picture it now, do not picture emptiness as frightening or cold. Instead, imagine an infinite softness, like a horizon without edges, a place without form or sound, where nothing had yet decided what it wanted to become. This was the beginning, the cradle of everything that would follow. As you drift into this early cosmic landscape, let your mind settle gently. Let the concept of infinity soothe rather than overwhelm. In this mythic imagining, Ginnungagap is almost like a resting breath between worlds, calm, quiet, unhurried. It rests between 2 great forces. To one side, the realm of icy stillness called Niflheim. To the other, the realm of fiery warmth called Muspelheim. At first, these 2 places existed far apart, each containing powerful energies but no purpose, no direction. Niflheim held its endless mist, its swirling frost, its deep, ancient cold. Muspelheim glowed with living flame, heat pulsing like a heartbeat of an unborn world. And Ginnungagap between them waited in tranquil silence. Imagine for a moment the slow drift of cold mist across an endless void. Imagine, too, the gentle flicker of distant firelight far on the opposite horizon. Over countless ages, ages too vast to measure or comprehend, these forces slowly reach toward one another, not with violence, not with sudden eruption, but with the gradual, natural movement of things that feel drawn together. Frost crept forward, delicate like early morning snowflakes. Heat moved outward, shimmering like the glow of embers on a quiet night. In the stillness of Ginnungagap, these elements finally met. What happened next was not an explosion, but emerging, a union of opposites that created the first stirrings of life. From a meeting of cold and heat, droplets formed, then more droplets. They gathered, they warmed, they cooled, they shifted and took shape. And from this ancient mingling emerged a giant unlike anything that would come after, Ymir, the first being of Norse mythology. His presence was vast and slow, like the land masses that would later rise upon the earth. His breath was the first sound in a silent universe. He was neither good nor evil, neither creator nor destroyer. He simply existed, born of the eternal balance between frost and flame. As you imagine Ymir rising within the gentle fog of Ginnungagap, feel the calm of this moment. This is not a loud birth. It's not a dramatic scene meant to startle or inspire fear. It is a quiet unfolding, a natural step in the process of creation. Ymir moved softly through the void, and from the melting ice around him emerged other forms of life. The ancient Norse imagined these early beings as giants, forces of raw nature, the first children of a cosmos still figuring itself out. The ice continued to melt, slowly revealing another figure, one that would shape the future far more directly. Her name was Ahumla, the primeval cosmic cow. To modern ears, the idea of a cosmic cow may seem unusual, but in the mythology, she represents nourishment, stability, and the gentle continuation of life. Picture her now, calm, steady, her form resting upon the frost as she gives forth the milk that sustains Ymir. Her presence in this early universe is peaceful, almost maternal, and her movements create no disturbance. She simply exists to give life, to provide, to sustain. Ahumla herself survived by licking the salty ice that surrounded her, and as she licked, she slowly uncovered something hidden within the frozen mass. At first, only a shape, then a form, then the clear outline of a being with purpose, strength, and destiny. This was Buri, the first god, the ancestor of many who would follow. His emergence in the ice is one of the quiet miracles of Norse creation, a moment where the cold world reveals its inner warmth, its hidden spark of divinity. Buri would eventually become the forebear of Odin, Vili, and Vi, the trio who would shape the world to come. But for now, in this early stage of existence, he simply stands within the soft glow of melting ice, a figure born from the oldest frost. The universe is still silent, still forming itself, still unfolding like a slow-moving dream. In this moment of creation, everything exists in balance. Frost does not overpower flame. Flame does not scorch the void. Ymir is sustained, Ahumla nourishes, and the first god emerges quietly from the depths of ancient ice. There is no conflict yet, no drama that disturbs the slow breath of Ginnungagap. The cosmos is still a cradle, holding its earliest beings gently, letting them grow at their own pace. The ancient Norse understood creation not as a single event, but as a gradual blooming of forces. The world did not spring into existence fully formed. It awakened softly, layer by layer, with each element contributing something essential. The cold gave structure, the heat gave movement, the void gave space. Together, they created a foundation for everything that would follow: the gods, the realms, the mountains, the seas, the sky, and eventually humanity itself. As you picture this early universe, let your mind drift with it. Imagine the slow, rhythmic drip of melting frost echoing across the emptiness. Imagine the low hum of distant fire, steady and comforting. Imagine Ymir resting peacefully as Ahumla moves around him, nurturing life with quiet constancy. These scenes are not meant to excite but to soothe, to remind you that even the grandest stories begin with stillness and patience. Soon, the children of Buri will emerge. Soon, the world will be shaped from Ymir's form, and the realms will find their places along the great tree of existence. But for now, all is calm, all is soft, all is unhurried. Creation is still in its earliest whisper, and you are here at the very beginning, drifting gently through the first breath of the Norse cosmos. From the soft dawn of creation, when Ymir and Ahumla drifted peacefully through the vast quiet of Ginnungagap, the cosmos began its next slow transformation. What had been only frost and flame mixing within the ancient void now prepared to take shape. Nothing rushed. Nothing clashed loudly. The earliest moment of the universe unfolded like drifting snow, gentle and inevitable. And within this stillness, the grandchildren of Buri, the first gods, opened their eyes. These were Odin, Vili, and Vi, born from Buri's son, Bor, and the frost giantess Besla. The three brothers were unlike the beings that came before them. They possessed clarity of purpose, a quiet brightness of mind, and a deep curiosity about the formless world around them. Where Ymir wandered without direction, the brothers watched with intention. They felt something stir in the vast emptiness, something waiting to be shaped, guided, given meaning. And so, as they observed the immense figure of Ymir sleeping within the mists, they made a quiet decision that would change everything. They would transform the chaos of the early world into a place of harmony, order, and beauty. To do this, they approached Ymir not as an enemy but as a source. In the mythology, Ymir is both a primordial being and the raw material for which existence will be formed. And so, the brothers gently lifted his great body and began the task of shaping the world. It was not an act of violence in this retelling, but the natural unfolding of creation, much like a seed opening to become a tree or a wave smoothing a shore. From Ymir's flesh, they formed the solid earth, soft and vast beneath an open sky. His bones became mountains, rising slowly, their peaks catching the first glow of a world in transition. His blood poured outward, filling the low places to create the seas, deep, calm, and waiting for life. His skull, immense and curved, they lifted high above everything to create the sky, placing it gently so it arched like a dome across the newly shaped land. Sparks from Muspelheim drifted upward, becoming stars. Tiny fires set into the ceiling of the heavens, glowing softly in the endless night. The brothers shaped every corner of the world with deliberate care. They placed clouds within the sky, created valleys and plains, spread sand along the edges of the sea. They allowed rivers to flow in slow, winding paths, fed by the ancient waters that trace their origins back to Niflheim. These rivers carried with them a quiet memory of the frost, a refreshing coolness that would nourish the world for ages to come. In every motion, the brothers worked not as warriors but as craftsmen, sculptors of reality, bringing calm and structure to the cosmos. Once the earth was complete, they turned their attention upward. Something was still missing, a center, a spine, a living connection that could bind the realms together. And so, from the deep roots of existence, they called forth a great tree. Not just any tree, but one whose branches stretched across the heavens and whose roots descended into the darkest depths. Its name would come to be known as Yggdrasil. Imagine it now, rising quietly at the center of the world, endlessly tall, endlessly alive, its trunk sturdy and ancient, its leaves whispering with cosmic winds. It connected everything, past, present, future, and stood as a guardian for all realms that would soon find their place. From this great tree, the 9 realms emerged like blossoms, opening in slow motion. Each realm took its position according to its nature. High above, radiating warmth and shimmering with brightness, rested Asgard, the home of the gods. Not far from it lay Vanaheim, realm of the peaceful Vanir. Closer to the middle stood Midgard, the world that would one day be home to humans. Further outward, wrapped in rocky terrain and wild landscapes, lay Jotunheim, land of the giants. Niflheim returned in the deep shadows, its frost ever present, while Muspelheim glowed with the eternal fire that helped begin it all. Alfheim shimmered like morning light on water, home to the elves. Svartalfheim lay hidden in darkness, where dwarves crafted wonders in quiet stone halls. And beneath all of it, Helheim rested in stillness, a realm for those who passed gently from life. Picture these realms now, each floating along the great framework of Yggdrasil like lanterns suspended in the night. Their lights dim, their movements soft, their energies flowing through the roots and branches of the world tree in a rhythm that feels almost like breathing. The cosmos was no longer an empty void. It had become a living tapestry, gently stretched across the structure of existence. The brothers saw that their work had brought shape to the universe, but the world still felt empty. It needed life, creatures, plants, and beings who could witness the beauty around them. So they created the first humans from 2 fallen logs of driftwood found along the shoreline. Odin gave them breath, Vili granted them thought and feeling, and Vi offered them form, senses, and speech. These first humans stood quietly on the shores of Midgard, looking out at the seas and skies shaped from the ancient body of Ymir, and felt the same calm that you might feel now as you imagine them awakening. As the first winds blew across the new world, carrying the scent of salt water and young forests, the universe settled into place. Nothing rushed, nothing demanded attention. The 9 realms rested peacefully in their new positions, connected by the roots and branches of Yggdrasil. Time began to flow in gentle waves rather than abrupt surges. Seasons found their rhythms. Night and day learned to share the sky. And all around this growing world, the quiet presence of creation lingered like a soft echo. Imagine yourself standing at the base of Yggdrasil, its trunk towering overhead, leaves whispering secrets of distant realms. Feel the calm it offers, not the excitement of discovery, but the peaceful knowing that everything has been placed with intention. The world is still young, still fresh, still glowing with the warmth of creation. The gods themselves look upon their work with a sense of quiet satisfaction. Soon, stories will unfold across these realms. Stories of gods seeking wisdom, of giants wandering the wild edges, of spirits moving through forests and mountains. But for now, everything is at peace. The world is made. The realms are set. The tree stands tall. And creation rests, breathing softly in the stillness of its first dawn. From a quiet meeting of frost and flame, the early beings of the cosmos began to move through the soft openness of Ginnungagap. Ymir drifted slowly through the void, and from his body, more life emerged. Beings came from beneath his arms, from the warmth beneath his legs, growing in their own natural way. The universe was beginning to breathe, though gently, like the first rise of a chest in sleep. And as this early life stirred, the shaping of the world approached. Softly, steadily, with the calm inevitability of dawn creeping across a winter horizon. In time, Buri's lineage grew, and from his line came three figures who would forever alter the fate of everything they touched: Odin, Vili, and Vi. These three brothers, descendants of the ancient Frost and the first god, were unlike the giants who had emerged before them. Where the giant embodied the raw forces of untamed nature, Odin and his brothers carried within them a spark of intention, purpose, and thought. They were beings of awareness, of vision, of understanding. Their minds were like steady flames in the darkness, flickering with curiosity as the brothers observed the vastness around them. They recognized that the cosmos, beautiful as it was in its early form, remained wild and unshaped. It was a place without structure or boundaries, without rhythm or meaning. Beneath their feet, only frost stretched endlessly. Above them, only empty potential. And before them, wandering slowly, was Ymir, the giant from whom countless beings had sprung. It was through him, to the primordial nature he embodied, that the brothers would shape something entirely new. The decision to create a world was not sudden, nor was it driven by conflict. It was more like the quiet realization that something was missing, that the cosmos longed for form the way a seed longed for soil. And so, in the stillness of Ginnungagap, the brothers approached Ymir. The mythology often speaks of this moment as a great act, but in the gentle retelling meant for peaceful listening, it can be felt more like a transition, a necessary shift, the soft movement of balance from one state to another. When Ymir's vast form finally came to rest, the brothers began their work. From his body, the world took shape. His flesh softened into the land, becoming earth and soil. His bones settled into place as mountains, strong and unmoving. His blood flowed outward, filling the early world with seas that shimmered softly beneath the distant, unseen sky. His skull, lifted high, formed the dome that would become the heavens, a protective arch over everything that would soon come to life. The ancient Norse did not imagine this creation as violent or chaotic. Instead, it mirrors the cycles of nature, one life transforming into another, one form giving rise to many. The giants, the gods, the world itself, they all originate from the same ancient source. As Odin, Vili, and Vi shaped the new landmass from Ymir's form, the quiet artistry of creation flowed through them like a slow current. The brothers did not stop with land and sky. They placed Ymir's brain in the sky where it became the clouds, soft gray shapes drifting across the dome, reminding all to look upward the world's earliest beginnings. They took sparks from Muspelheim, borrowing gently from the realm of fire, and flung them into the heavens. These sparks settled into patterns of light, becoming stars, glowing peacefully against the dark sky. Some became constellations whose shapes would guide travelers for thousands of years. Others became the soft glimmer of distant suns, tiny reminders of Muspelheim's eternal flame. With the land shaped and the stars shining above, Odin and his brothers turned to the space between heaven and earth. The world needed a center, a structure to connect the growing realms. And so they formed Yggdrasil, the great world tree. Picture it rising now, slowly, steadily, from the heart of the new world. Its roots reach deep into hidden, mysterious places. Its trunk stands tall and strong, a pillar holding the realms in balance. Its branches extend across sky and space, carrying leaves that shimmer faintly with life. Yggdrasil is not merely a tree. It is the axis of existence, a living connection between all realms. As Yggdrasil took root, the 9 realms began to form around it. High above, Asgard, the future home of the gods, found its place among the upper branches, a place of peace, shining halls, and watchful divinity. Midgard, the world of humans yet to come, settled in the middle, protected and encircled by the great tree's strength. Jotunheim, the land of giants, emerged farther out, a rugged land echoing with the presence of Ymir's descendants. Other realms, Alfheim, Vanaheim, Svartalfheim, Niflheim, Muspelheim, and Helheim, appeared as the universe expanded into its full tapestry. Each of these realms came into being in its own quiet way, forming like petals of a vast, celestial flower unfurling one by one. None of them clashed or collided. Instead, they simply found their proper place. Balance was not imposed, but naturally woven into the fabric of the universe, the same way night gently follows day and winter flows into spring. Once the realms stood in harmony, The brothers walked across the new earth they had shaped. Green forests spread under their feet. Rivers flowed with clear water, carving peaceful paths through the land. Hills rose softly, and oceans rested calmly against distant shores. The world was beautiful but quiet, waiting for life to fill it. It was here, in this new world where the sea met the sand, that the brothers found two pieces of driftwood. One long, one sturdy. One curved, one straight. Wood worn smooth by time and tide. And from these simple pieces, they created the first humans. They gave them breath, awareness, movement, sight, warmth, and purpose. This was the final act that brought the world fully alive. With humans walking the world, the creation was complete. The realms were set, the stars were lit, the earth was shaped, and life breathed softly across the land. In the quiet after creation, all things settled into place. Yggdrasil stood tall, supporting the cosmos. The wind stirred gently. The seas murmured against the shores. Creation had begun in stillness, and in that same soothing quiet, the new world now rested. When the worlds were shaped and the realms arranged along Yggdrasil's branches, the cosmos did not fall into perfect harmony. It existed instead in a natural tension between order and wildness. This was not a conflict born of malice, but rather the contrast between civilization and the untamed forces that had existed long before. The gods who descended from Buri's line became known as the Aesir, beings of order, thought, leadership, and structure. But elsewhere in the gentle expanses of the newfound cosmos, another group of gods already lived. The Vanir, spirits of nature, prosperity, fertility, and peaceful abundance. For a time, the Aesir and the Vanir simply existed in their separate realms, watching over different aspects of creation. The Aesir shaped structure and defined boundaries, laying down the laws and frameworks that held the world together. The Vanir, in contrast, nurtured growth, the gentle rhythm of seasons, the fertility of the earth, and the deep magic that connected living things. Their gifts were softer, rooted in harmony rather than control. And yet, as often happens when two forms of strength meet, misunderstandings grew. The ancient tales speak of a moment when the Vanir goddess Freya, wandering across realms, practiced a form of magic the Aesir had never seen before. This magic, Seidr, was a deep, intuitive craft that allowed her to see threads of fate, influence emotion, and understand hidden currents of the world. To the Aesir, especially to Odin, this magic was both fascinating and unsettling. They valued knowledge and power, but they feared anything that moved outside the structures they understood. The presence of Freya among them stirred their curiosity, but also their uncertainty. In the stories, this unease eventually became conflict, yet in a calm retelling. It is easy to think of it not as a violent clash, but as a friction that arises when different cultures fail to understand one another. The Aesir, seeing Seidr as unpredictable, tried to suppress it. The Vanir, offended by this rejection, responded in kind. What began as a misunderstanding grew slowly into a tension that could not be ignored. And so the first war in the universe began. But even this war, in the context of a soft bedtime telling, feels distant and symbolic rather than harsh. It was a clash not of chaos but of worldviews, a disagreement between forces of structure and forces of nature. The Aesir sought control, the Vanir sought freedom. Yet neither side wished for endless conflict. They fought, yes, but the stories do not linger on violence. Instead, they emphasize the lessons learned, the bridges built, and the balance restored. Over time, both sides realized that neither could truly overcome the other. The Aesir could not suppress the Vanir's deep-rooted connection to life. The Vanir could not dismantle the Aesir's strength and order. And so the war quieted, not with a single final battle, but with a gradual understanding that cooperation served the cosmos better than division. To seal their truce, the two sides exchanged hostages, a gesture of respect and trust. From the Vanir came three remarkable beings. Njord, calm like the sea he ruled, Freyr, radiant with the warmth of harvest and peace, and Freya herself, whose beauty, wisdom, and magic would forever change the Aesir. In return, the Aesir sent figures of their own, and with this exchange, the two groups of gods became intertwined. The blending of Aesir and Vanir brought harmony. The Aesir gained the wisdom of nature, the softness of Seidr, and the deeper mysteries of life. The Vanir, in turn, gained structure, stability, and a place in the growing pantheon of the heavens. Together, they shaped a peaceful coexistence, each side honoring the strengths of the other. From this union emerged a new era. The gods gathered in Asgard, constructing halls where they could meet, feast, plan, and continue shaping the cosmos. Peace did not erase their differences, but allowed those differences to complement each other. Odin learned cedar from Freya, deepening his wisdom. Freyr became a symbol of peace and prosperity among the Aesir. Jor brought calm seas for travelers and fishermen. The worlds grew richer through their cooperation. In the quiet aftermath of unity, a gentle balance settled over the realms. The Aesir shaped destiny, while the Vanir nurtured life. Together they watched over the 9 realms with shared purpose. And though future troubles would come, in this early age, the cosmos rested for a while in harmony, guided by gods who had learned the value of understanding. Odin, the All-Father, is perhaps the most intriguing figure in the quiet, vast world of Norse mythology. To meet him is to meet the embodiment of wisdom, curiosity, and subtle power. Unlike other gods who might strike with force or thunder, Odin's presence is measured, thoughtful, almost meditative. He is a figure whose strength lies not only in physical ability, but in understanding, foresight, and the delicate balance of knowledge and sacrifice. Imagine him now, standing beneath the branches of Yggdrasil, the great world tree, his one remaining eye reflecting the soft glow of distant stars. His gaze is calm yet penetrating, seeing beyond the world as it appears and into threads of fate that weave every life. From the very beginning, Odin was driven by an unending desire to understand. He was not content with what was obvious, what was immediate, or what could be grasped by simple observation. Instead, he sought the hidden, the subtle, and the eternal. The old tales told his sacrifices, which he offered in pursuit of wisdom, and the paths he walked alone, across desolate landscapes and into the deepest recesses of thought and being. These journeys were never rushed. Each step was deliberate. Each choice weighted with meaning, and each moment allowed to settle in the mind like dew upon grass. This is the Odin that the myths invite you to follow. Not a god of explosive action, but a god of reflection, patience, and measured insight. One of Odin's most famous sacrifices is the giving of his own eye, in a realm where knowledge was treasured above all else. He approached Mimir, the guardian of the sacred well of wisdom, and offered his eye in exchange for a drink from its waters. Imagine this scene as it unfolds not with loud ceremony, but with a quiet, solemn grace. The All-Father kneels beside the well, and the world seems to hold its breath. The gift of his eye is not merely a loss, but a transformation, a willingness to exchange part of himself to gain a deeper understanding of the universe. It is a testament to his relentless quest. That true insight often requires patience, sacrifice, and courage, and that the paths to wisdom are seldom easy or comfortable. Another profound episode in Odin's pursuit of knowledge is his self hanging upon Yggdrasil. He hung there, suspended from the world tree, pierced by his own spear, for 9 long nights. This act was not violent in the ordinary sense of sacred, a deliberate immersion into suffering and endurance to gain the secrets of the runes, the ancient symbols that held power, meaning, and the essence of existence itself. The wind whispered through the branches, leaves trembled softly, and the roots of Yggdrasil cradled him as he hung. It was a time of deep reflection and meditation, a solitary trial undertaken with calm determination. Each moment of this ordeal was infused with purpose, each beat of the heart a quiet drum marking the rhythm of understanding. When he finally released the runes, he had gained not only knowledge but the ability to share it, to weave insight into the fabric of the world, and to guide gods and mortals alike. Odin is also a traveler, wandering among humans and the worlds beyond, sometimes in disguise, sometimes as a silent observer. His journeys are not loud or ostentatious, but deliberate and thoughtful. He moves through forests where the snow muffles each footstep, across mountains that rise like quiet sentinels against the horizon, and along misty shores where the water reflects the soft shimmer of the moon. Everywhere he goes, he learns, observes, and contemplates. The myths describe him offering guidance to those who are receptive, sharing riddles and wisdom in calm words that carry weight far beyond their simplicity. He understands that knowledge is not a gift to be forced upon others, but a quiet illumination for those willing to perceive it. Despite his immense power, Odin is not immune to the flow of fate. He knows that even the gods are bound by the great tapestry of destiny woven by the Norns, the three ancient weavers of time. This awareness imbues his actions with a sense of solemnity and patience. He does not rush the unfolding of events, does not demand immediate outcomes, but moves with the rhythm of the universe itself. There is a serenity in this understanding, a gentle acceptance of the patterns of existence, and a recognition that the ultimate power of the All-Father lies not in domination, but in perception, guidance, and the shaping of events through insight rather than force. Odin is also a god of connection. He is never entirely isolated, even in his solitary pursuits. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, thought and memory, fly across the 9 realms, carrying knowledge back to him, whispering secrets of faraway lands and distant lives. He listens attentively to their quiet words, absorbing what they convey, reflecting upon it. His wolves, Jerry and Freki, accompany him not as mere companions, but as constant presences, reminding him of the balance between strength and restraint, instinct and contemplation. Through these connections, Odin demonstrates that wisdom is not achieved in isolation. It is cultivated in awareness of others, in observation, and in the gentle gathering of insight from all corners of existence. Even in moments of decision or counsel, Odin moves with softness rather than harshness. In the halls of Asgard, when discussing matters of gods, men, or fate, he speaks not with the clamor of authority, but with the measured calm of one who has seen much and considered more. His words carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are considered deliberate and suffused with understanding. The tales remind us that true leadership, like true wisdom, is often quiet, reflective, and patient, a lesson that drifts gently through the layers of mythology as easily as the wind moves through the branches of a forest. As you imagine Odin now, resting beneath Yggdrasil or wandering in the midst of distant lands, allow yourself to absorb the slow rhythm of his world. Let your thoughts drift gently in parallel to his calm curiosity. There is no need to hurry, no need to question. The All-Father's story unfolds at the pace of seasons, of rivers carving valleys, of snow accumulating softly on quiet hills. In this stillness, you may sense the weight of his wisdom, the depth of his patience, and the quiet power of his insight. Odin is not merely a god of action or conquest. He is the embodiment of understanding, of the deliberate search for truth, and of the gentle unfolding of knowledge across time. Tonight, as you listen to this story and allow your mind to soften, imagine following Odin on his quiet journeys. Feel the stillness of the cosmos around him, the gentle sway of Yggdrasil's branches above, the soft murmurs of wind, water, and leaves. Let the rhythm of his world synchronize with your own breathing, slow and steady, a calm pulse echoing through the 9 realms. This is the essence of the All-Father, patience, reflection, and quiet wisdom, guiding all that exists with a steady, serene hand, preparing the world and you for the unfolding stories yet to come. Thor, the mighty son of Odin, carries a presence that is at once powerful and reassuring, like the steady rumble of distant thunder that softly echoes across quiet hills. Unlike the introspective, seeking nature of his father, Thor embodies the raw, protective strength of the world itself, a gentle yet unshakable force of stability. He is the guardian of Midgard, the realm of humans, standing between the fragile lives of mortals and the chaotic powers of giants and unseen forces. Yet even in his immense strength, there is a calmness, a rhythm, a measured pulse that mirrors the natural cycles of life. He moves with purpose, but never hastily. His actions are deliberate, controlled, and always guided by his role as protector. Imagine Thor now, walking slowly across the rugged northern landscapes, the wind carrying a faint scent of pine and storm. His great hammer, Mjolnir, rests comfortably in his hand, not as an instrument of destruction, but as a tool of guardianship. Each step he takes resonates with a quiet confidence, a steady reminder that balance must be maintained. Mjolnir itself is more than a weapon. It is a symbol of protection, a talisman that reassures both gods and humans alike. Its soft glow in the twilight evokes warmth, safety, and the certainty that the forces of chaos are held at bay. Even as lightning flashes distantly across the sky, it feels like a lullaby in Thor's presence, a reminder of order and calm within the natural rhythms of the world. Thor's myths often involve confrontations with the giants, the Jotnar, whose unpredictable nature reflects the wild and untamed aspects of the universe. But in the telling of these stories, The emphasis is rarely on fear or aggression. Instead, it is on responsibility, duty, and the quiet courage required to face forces larger than oneself. When Thor wields Mjolnir against a threat, it is not in haste or anger, but with precision and care. His strength is a gentle reassurance, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming power, there is order, protection, and the possibility of calm resolution. Imagine these encounters as soft, rhythmic waves along a shoreline, persistent, steady, and inevitable, yet never chaotic or frightening. Thor's character is also intimately tied to the natural world, embodying the cycles of storm and renewal. The thunder he summons is not simply a display of might, but a natural expression of the forces that shape life in the north. The lightning that arcs across the sky illuminates the world for a moment, revealing its beauty and clarity. The rain that follows nourishes the land, allowing forests to grow and rivers to flow. In this way, Thor's actions are harmonized with the environment, like a careful gardener tending to a vast, living garden. He is both warrior and caretaker, protector and nurturer, a constant presence that ensures the stability of Midgard and the Nine Realms. One of Thor's most beloved traits in the myths is his humility and accessibility. Unlike some gods who dwell in lofty halls, Thor is often depicted walking among humans, sharing in their labors, feasts, and daily lives. He is approachable, familiar, a presence that reassures without demanding reverence. In these quiet moments, the All-Father Son shows that true strength does not need to dominate. It comforts, supports, and nurtures. Picture him visiting a village under the soft glow of twilight, children looking up in awe as he moves gently among them. The warmth of his presence softening even the coldest northern night. This human connection grounds Thor's story, linking the divine to the ordinary in a gentle, seamless way. Thor's companions also illustrate the calm, measured rhythm of his life. His chariot, drawn by the mighty goats Tangrasnir and Tangjost, moves across the sky in a steady, comforting cadence. Each step of the goats resonates like a heartbeat, echoing the steady rhythm of the world itself. They are not wild or chaotic beasts, but loyal, reliable partners, reinforcing Thor's role as a guardian whose strength is consistent and reassuring. Even his interactions with other gods are guided by this sense of balance. He may be strong, but he is never reckless. He may wield great power, but it is always tempered with care. The myths also remind us that Thor's strength is not merely physical. He embodies endurance, perseverance, and quiet resilience. He faces challenges that would overwhelm others, yet he does so with a calm, focused spirit. Whether crossing treacherous terrain, confronting giants, or protecting humans, his actions are deliberate and rhythmic, unfolding like the slow, inevitable passage of time itself. In this way, Thor's story becomes not a tale of dramatic battles, but a meditation on steadfastness, courage, and the gentle assertion of order over chaos. Even the most famous episodes involving Thor, like the retrieval of his hammer when it is stolen or the crossing of the giant's land, can be imagined as a flowing, serene narrative. Each obstacle is approached methodically, each challenge overcome with skill and patience, each victory felt as a quiet balance restored rather than an eruption of violence. These stories are not hurried. They unfold slowly, deliberately, allowing the listener to absorb the calm strength that Thor represents, to let it seep into the imagination and the breath, to feel the security of protection without urgency or alarm. As you picture Thor moving through the world, feel the steady rhythm of his presence echoing in your own body. Imagine the gentle rumble of distant thunder, not startling, but grounding. Imagine the soft glow of lightning illuminating a forest, revealing the quiet majesty of trees, rivers, and mountains. Imagine the reassuring weight of Mjolnir in his hand, a constant force of protection. And imagine, too, the comforting certainty that, in a world of change, instability, and unseen dangers, there exists a presence that maintains balance, safeguards life, and upholds order, quietly, gently, consistently. Thor's story, like all great myths, serves a purpose beyond its narrative. It teaches endurance, the protection of what is valued, and the harmony between strength and care. It reminds us that power can be reassuring, that courage can be calm, and that responsibility often requires patience as much as action. In the quiet of the night, as you listen and drift alongside these tales, allow Thor's presence to settle softly around you, like a warm hand upon your shoulder. Let his steady, rhythmic energy lull your mind, his quiet courage ease your thoughts, and his protective strength remind you of the calm order underlying even the wildest forces of the world. In this way, Thor's legend is not only a story of gods and giants, storms and battles. It is a story that moves with gentle cadence, designed to soothe the mind, inspire quiet reflection, and prepare the listener for the unfolding mysteries yet to come. As you imagine him walking across northern landscapes, the wind whispering to the pines, the distant sky glowing with a subtle flicker of lightning, feel the grounding rhythm of his being, steady and unwavering. And with that sense of calm strength, drift gently deeper into the world of Norse mythology, where every story, every god, every whisper of wind and rustle of leaf carries the serene cadence of an ancient, timeless cosmos. Loki, the quiet trickster, moves through the midst of the Norse world like a shadow cast across a moonlit forest. He is not entirely dark nor entirely light, but something in between, a figure of subtle movement, unpredictable yet measured, whose presence is felt even when unseen. In many stories, Loki brings change, mischief, and challenge, but these actions are not loud or violent in the ordinary sense. They ripple through the cosmos like gentle waves, soft disturbances that ultimately reveal hidden truths. To follow Loki is to follow curiosity itself, to explore the edges of the world and the mind, and to notice the quiet lessons that lie behind even the most unusual events. Imagine Loki standing at the edge of a quiet fjord, the water still beneath the dim glow of twilight. His gaze shifts softly from one horizon to another, always observing, always calculating. He is small in comparison to the giants he sometimes faces, subtle in comparison to the strength of Thor, yet he possesses a mind as sharp and flowing as a river in spring. Loki's cunning is not a force of chaos for its own sake. Instead, it is a delicate thread woven into the larger tapestry of the 9 realms, a reminder that the world is rarely simple or predictable. Change comes softly and often unexpectedly, and Loki is the quiet agent of that gentle transformation. Loki's origins are as unusual and mysterious as his character. He is a child of giants, yet he dwells among the gods of Asgard, straddling the worlds of order and wilderness. This duality gives him insight into both realms, a perspective that few other gods possess. He can move between spaces that others cannot, seeing what lies hidden, understanding motives unspoken, and perceiving outcomes that are yet to unfold. In this way, Loki embodies a kind of quiet wisdom, though it is often misunderstood. His intelligence is not flaunted. It is applied in soft, careful nudges, subtle adjustments, and whispered interventions that guide events in ways that might go unnoticed if one does not watch closely. One of the most intriguing aspects of Loki is his relationship with other gods. He is companion, challenger, and occasionally advisor, never fully belonging, yet never entirely absent. He shares the feasts of Asgard, the councils of Odin, the quiet journeys of Thor. And in each interaction, there is a subtle balance, a dance of influence that does not announce itself with clamor, but flows naturally, like the shifting patterns of clouds across the northern sky. Through Loki, the myths teach that intelligence and creativity are forms of power as vital as strength or foresight, and that even disruption can carry meaning and purpose. Loki's role as trickster extends to his family and his children, who themselves embody forces beyond the comprehension of gods and men. Among them are Hel, ruler of the realm of the dead, Jormungandr, the great world serpent that encircles Midgard, and Fenrir, the enormous wolf whose fate is intertwined with Ragnarok. Each child represents aspects of the world that are both feared and respected, and each demonstrates that change, transformation, and endings are inherent to the universe. Loki's quiet guidance or subtle nudging shapes the world through these beings, illustrating that even apparent mischief can have profound and lasting effects. The lessons are soft, almost hidden, yet undeniably present, like the shimmer of stars through a thin layer of mist. In many tales, Loki's cleverness helps the gods solve problems that would otherwise overwhelm them. He finds solutions, proposes strategies, and sometimes bends rules in ways that reveal new possibilities. These stories are not framed as chaotic disruptions, but as gentle examinations of perspective, adaptation, and the flexibility required in a world governed by fate and balance. Loki reminds us that intelligence often works quietly, that the mind can navigate challenges with patience and subtlety, and that small actions can ripple outward to create meaningful change. Even when Loki causes mischief, the narrative treats him as a natural force rather than a villain. He is a reflection of unpredictability inherent in life, an agent reminding gods and humans alike that order is not absolute, that plans must be flexible, and that surprises are part of the rhythm of existence. Picture him now, standing on a moss-covered cliff as fog drifts over the valley below. He smiles faintly, not with malice, but with the quiet amusement of someone who understands the subtle interplay of events and the impermanence of circumstance. His laughter is soft, almost like the rustling of leaves or the distant trickle of a stream, blending seamlessly into the calm environment around him. Loki's cunning also illustrates the theme of consequence and responsibility. The stories rarely depict him as acting without impact. Every choice has repercussions, some immediate, some unfolding over centuries. He teaches that actions, even those made in jest or curiosity, carry weight and must be considered. Yet the tone of these lessons is not harsh or punitive. It is reflective, allowing the listener to understand without fear or alarm. Loki's presence, therefore, encourages contemplation, patience, and awareness of the intricate connections that form the cosmos. It is a quiet meditation on cause and effect, woven into the fabric of myth in a way that is both gentle and profound. To walk alongside Loki in these stories is to enter a world where cleverness, subtlety, and observation are as vital as strength or courage. It is to see the unseen, to hear the unspoken, and understand that even the smallest actions can carry meaning across the vastness of time and space. His character encourages you to notice patterns, appreciate nuance, and value insight over immediate gratification. It is a soft, reflective journey, one that asks nothing but attention and allows the mind to wander in harmony with the flow of the tale. As you picture Loki now, drifting between realms, moving through forests and mountains, rivers and misty valleys, let yourself mirror his quiet awareness. Let your breathing synchronize with the gentle rhythm of his presence. Imagine his eyes noticing the subtleties of the world, his steps measured and deliberate, his mind quietly connecting threads that are invisible to most. In this way, Loki becomes a guide through complexity, a reminder that even in uncertainty there is insight, and that patience, reflection, and a touch of cleverness can illuminate the path forward. In the calm of the night, as you drift through this narrative, allow Loki's quiet trickster nature to settle softly around you. His stories do not startle, they do not demand. They invite observation, contemplation, and gentle curiosity. Through him, the Norse myths teach the subtle art of navigating life's unexpected turns, appreciating the delicate balance of forces, and understanding that even the unseen and unanticipated hold meaning. Follow his steps slowly, listen to his whispered influence in the weave of myth, and let the quiet wisdom of the trickster ease your thoughts, preparing you for the unfolding tales yet to come. Freya, the gentle yet powerful goddess of love, beauty, and magic, moves through the myths with a soft grace that contrasts with the thunderous energy of gods like Thor. Her presence is like a warm light filtering through the trees on a quiet morning, subtle yet deeply affecting, touching all who encounter her with a sense of wonder and calm. She is a figure of immense depth, embodying the quiet strength of emotional connection, the nurturing of life, and the delicate balance between desire and wisdom. In the 9 realms, Freya is both approachable and formidable, a reflection of the natural forces that sustain and transform existence. Imagine her now, walking slowly through a meadow bathed in twilight, the air filled with a faint scent of blooming flowers and the soft hum of distant streams. Her golden hair catches the last rays of the sun, shimmering like threads of light across the landscape. Her eyes, calm and attentive, seem to perceive the inner rhythms of the world around her, noticing details often missed by others. In her quiet observation lies her power, a deep understanding of relationships, life, and the cycles that govern both. She is the embodiment of harmony, teaching that influence need not be loud or forceful, but gentle, deliberate, and attuned to the currents of nature. Freya is closely connected to the Vanir, the gods associated with fertility, prosperity, and the softer, sustaining forces of the world. Her brother, Freyr, shares these qualities, representing abundance, growth, and the calm rhythms of nature. Together, They balance the Aesir's focus on strength and order with a softer, nurturing energy that sustains the world quietly from behind the scenes. Freya's magic, known as Cedar, allows her to influence both the natural and spiritual realms, weaving possibilities, guiding decisions, and shaping destinies. Her power is subtle yet profound, a reminder that the quiet arts of persuasion, understanding, and empathy often hold more sway than force alone. In the myths, Freya is often sought for guidance and support, yet she gives freely without judgment or demand. Imagine approaching her in a quiet glade, seeking insight into the mysteries of the heart or the natural world. She listens patiently, her presence radiating warmth and attentiveness, and offers counsel that is measured, reflective, and compassionate. Even when the questions involve the most difficult choices or the heaviest burdens, she responds with a calm, steady hand, gently illuminating paths that might not have been visible before. Her wisdom is quiet, unfolding slowly, allowing the seeker to arrive at understanding without hurry or pressure. Freya's associations with love and desire extend beyond human relationships to the relationships between all beings in the 9 realms. She teaches that connection is not only about attachment, but about respect, patience, and mutual understanding. In her stories, she often navigates the challenges of longing and separation, illustrating that emotional strength comes from awareness and care rather than force or urgency. The lessons she imparts are soft, like the petals of flower brushing against the skin, yet they linger, shaping thought and feeling in ways both subtle and enduring. Freyr, in parallel, embodies the calm prosperity of the world. He is the quiet god of harvest, growth, and abundance, watching over fields, forests, and rivers with measured attention. His presence is reassuring, a constant rhythm in the cycles of life that allows mortals and gods alike to trust in the continuity of the world. Imagine him walking slowly among golden wheat fields, the wind moving through the stalks in a soft wave, each step he takes in harmony with the earth. Freyr's calm energy complements Freya's warmth, and together they maintain the balance of nurturing forces across the 9 realms. The Vanir's influence also highlights the importance of subtlety in power. Whereas other gods might exert strength or demand obedience, Freya and Freyr guide through understanding, patience, and the gentle shaping of circumstances. They remind listeners that true influence often arises from awareness and empathy, that harmony is cultivated through care rather than confrontation, and that life's richest outcomes emerge from quiet, consistent attention. In this way, their myths are not just stories but soft meditations on the nature of connection, responsibility, and the nurturing of both people and the environment. Even in moments of conflict, Freya and Freyr act with measured grace. Freya, though associated with beauty and desire, is not passive. She is clever, assertive, and capable of navigating challenges with quiet cunning. Yet her approach is never reckless or brash. Instead, she adapts, observes, and moves in ways that preserve balance while achieving her aims. Similarly, Freyr, though less directly involved in confrontation, ensures that abundance and prosperity continue, even in times of uncertainty or tension. Their combined presence conveys a sense of calm resilience, a reminder that strength and patience can coexist, and that influence need not be loud to be profound. As you imagine walking beside them, feel the gentle cadence of their movements, the soft warmth that radiates from their presence, and the steady rhythm of their attention to the world. The air feels lighter, the colors of the landscape more vivid, yet everything remains subdued and harmonious, as though the entire cosmos itself has taken a deep, calming breath. Through Freya and Freyr, the myths invite you to notice the quiet forces at work in your own life, the subtle act of care, the patient cultivation of understanding, the gentle guidance that shapes outcomes over time. These are not dramatic lessons, but they linger, offering a sense of peace and reassurance that flows gently into thought and breath. Freya's journeys also bring her into contact with other gods, humans, and even spirits. In each encounter, her grace and wisdom leave a soft imprint, shaping the events without forcing them. She teaches through example, demonstrating that influence can be gentle, subtle, and enduring. Freyr, similarly, walks a path of measured impact, ensuring the continuity of life cycles and reinforcing the harmony that underpins the 9 realms. Together, their presence reminds us that quiet power, like the soft growth of seed into a tree, can sustain and protect more effectively than any sudden display of force. In this quiet reflection, allow your mind to drift alongside the calm energies of Freya and Freyr. Picture the serene meadows, the softly flowing rivers, and the gentle sway of forests, all nurtured by their steady, quiet influence. Feel the warmth and reassurance of their presence, like a soft hand guiding you through the stillness of the night. Let their rhythm synchronize with your own, slowing your breathing, easing your thoughts, and prepare your mind to drift ever deeper into the unfolding world of Norse mythology, where every story, every being, and every whisper carries the serene cadence of an ancient and timeless cosmos. Heimdall, the vigilant guardian of Bifrost, moves through the mist like a quiet sentinel, embodying patience, awareness, and the soft but unwavering presence of protection. Unlike the explosive force of Thor or the subtle cunning of Loki, Heimdall's strength lies in his constant vigilance, in the careful observation of the world, and in his readiness to act when necessary. Imagine him standing atop the Rainbow Bridge, the delicate colors stretching across the sky, connecting Asgard to Midgard. He is still calm, attuned to the slightest movements in the Nine Realms. His senses stretch beyond what any other being could perceive. Even in silence, his presence brings reassurance, like the gentle echo of distant bells warning without alarm, protecting all that he watches over with soft but unyielding dedication. Heimdall's senses are extraordinary, finely tuned to the rhythms of the cosmos. He can see for hundreds of leagues across the realms and hear the faintest whisper of approaching footsteps. Yet even with these powers, his actions are never hasty or forceful without purpose. Each observation, each moment of attentiveness, is deliberate, measured, and calm. Picture him listening to the rustle of leaves in distant forests, the faint murmur of water flowing through unseen streams, and the subtle stirring of mortal lives far below. Through Heimdall, the myths teach the quiet importance of awareness, of presence, and of understanding the world not as a chaotic noise, but as a symphony of subtle movements and connections. Balder, in contrast, embodies light, beauty, and the serene harmony of existence. He is often described as radiant, shining with a gentle luminescence that soothes all who encounter him. Imagine Balder walking through a quiet meadow at dawn, soft light glancing across the dew-laden grass, birds singing faintly in the distance, and the world itself seeming to pause in quiet reverence. Balder's essence is peace. He carries with him a sense of calm that balances the natural rhythms of life, offering reassurance and warmth to gods and mortals alike. His stories, though sometimes tinged with tragedy, are suffused with gentle lessons about love, kindness, and the enduring nature of goodness in a world often filled with uncertainty. The relationship between Heimdall and Balder highlights a subtle interplay of vigilance and light, of protection and beauty. Heimdall guards a bridge that connects realms, ensuring that balance and order are maintained, while Balder radiates a harmony and calm that the realms themselves thrive upon. Together, they demonstrate that safety and serenity are intertwined, each depending on the other for continuity. Heimdall's watchfulness allows Balder's light to shine without threat, and Balder's radiance softens the ever-present tension of vigilance. Their combined presence is a quiet reassurance, a reflection that in the cosmic order, care and calm coexist to maintain balance. Balder's stories are gentle but deeply poignant, often illustrating the fragility of life and the quiet power of compassion. He is beloved by all beings, mortal and divine, and his presence creates harmony wherever he goes. Imagine him sitting under a tree in Asgard, listening to the soft whispers of the wind, feeling the pulse of life in every leaf and blade of grass. Even the smallest actions, a smile, a touch, a word, carry a calm influence, reinforcing the interconnectedness of the Nine Realms. His peaceful essence reminds listeners that goodness does not need to be loud to be powerful. Even quiet, unassuming actions can leave a lasting impact across time and space. Heimdall, in contrast, teaches that calm vigilance is as essential as light. His ability to perceive hidden movements, to anticipate change, and to maintain balance ensures that the realms remain safe and harmonious. Picture him leaning lightly against a stone on the edge of Bifrost, listening to the faint murmur of distant creatures, feeling the slow vibration of events unfolding far away. There is no rush, no tension, only steady attentiveness, a reminder that true guardianship is patient and enduring, and that strength is most profound when paired with calm observation and restraint. Together, Heimdall and Balder illustrate the duality of safety and serenity in Norse mythology. Where Balder represents the soft illumination that guides and comforts, Heimdall embodies the watchful presence that ensures that illumination is not threatened. Their interplay is subtle, never dramatic or violent, yet creates a sense of profound order within the cosmos. Imagine walking alongside them in a quiet glade or on a serene hilltop, feeling the gentle security of Heimdall's vigilance and the soothing warmth of Balder's light, blending seamlessly with the natural rhythm of the world. The air feels heavier with reassurance, softer with peace, and every step seems guided by an invisible hand, steady and unwavering. Even in moments of foreshadowed tragedy, such as Balder's eventual fate, the myths treat these events with a reflective, calm lens. The lessons are gentle, emphasizing the impermanence of life and the quiet resilience of the heart and spirit. Balder's story encourages mindfulness, the nurturing of compassion, and the understanding that even light can be temporarily shadowed without losing its essence. Meanwhile, Heimdall's ever-watchful nature reminds listeners that patience, observation, and steady readiness provide a foundation that supports balance and continuity through life's inevitable uncertainties. In this quiet reflection, as you drift through the narratives of Heimdall and Balder, allow your mind to synchronize with their rhythms. Hear the soft whisper of Bifrost beneath Heimdall's feet, the gentle luminescence of Balder illuminating the pathways of the 9 realms. Let their presence settle around you like a warm, protective cloak, soothing any tension or distraction, and allow your thoughts to flow softly, unhurried, and calm. Their stories are not meant to excite or alarm, but to guide the mind into a state of gentle awareness, to mirror the slow, deliberate movement of the universe itself, and prepare you for the further unfolding of Norse mythology in all its depth and beauty. Through these 2 figures, the myths offer a meditation on duality, the vigilance that protects and the light that comforts, the watchfulness that maintains order and the warmth that nurtures peace. They are reminders that balance is achieved not through force alone, but through presence, care, and quiet reflection. As you imagine Heimdall standing guard and Balder radiating gentle light, let their energies merge with your own breathing, slowing your pulse, softening your thoughts, and creating a sense of security and calm that extends throughout your consciousness. Yggdrasil, the great world tree, stands at the heart of the Norse cosmos, its branches stretching into the heavens and its roots delving deep into the unseen foundations of existence. To picture it is to imagine a structure that is simultaneously vast, intricate, and alive, a gentle yet unshakable pillar supporting all that exists. Its trunk is wide and solid, the bark smooth and comforting to the touch, resonating with the quiet pulse of the universe itself. From its roots flow rivers that nourish distant realms, and from its branches hang the soft glow of stars and the whispers of unseen beings. Yggdrasil is not only a tree, it is a living framework of the 9 realms, a slow, steady heartbeat that links gods, humans, and creatures alike in an intricate, harmonious web. As you drift closer to Yggdrasil in your mind, notice the way its branches sway gently in an unseen wind. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves, the faint shimmer of light passing through them, and the quiet hum of life that resonates within. Across its expanse, the realms are suspended like delicate ornaments, each unique yet intrinsically connected to the tree's enduring strength. Asgard, home of the Aesir, sits high among the branches, bathed in gentle sunlight, a place of calm order and quiet reflection. Midgard, the realm of humans, lies balanced on lower branches, connected yet distinct, a world where mortal lives unfold in their natural rhythms. The connections between realms are subtle but vital, like threads of light weaving a tapestry of existence, all anchored by the solid and serene presence of Yggdrasil. Beneath the tree, the roots stretch downward into the depths, embracing the dark and mysterious corners of the cosmos. These roots hold the knowledge and history of countless generations, anchoring Yggdrasil and, through it, the 9 realms themselves. At the base lies the Well of Ord, tended by the Norns, the 3 weavers of fate. Their quiet movements, weaving and observing, are synchronized with the slow pulse of the tree, creating a rhythm that balances time, destiny, and the unfolding of life. Ord's well glistens softly, its waters clear and reflective, carrying whispers of what has been, what is, and what may come. The Norn's presence reminds all beings that even within the vast expanse of existence, there is a calm order, a slow and deliberate guidance that shapes the flow of events with quiet patience. Alongside Ord's well, Other roots intertwine with rivers and streams that flow from Yggdrasil, carrying sustenance and energy to distant realms. These waters move slowly and deliberately, nourishing life and connecting worlds in subtle ways. They are not turbulent or rushing, but gentle and continuous, like the soft passage of time itself. Creatures, both great and small, find their homes along these roots, moving in harmony with the tree's rhythm. Among them are the giant serpent Enidjar, gnawing softly at the roots in his eternal vigil, and the squirrel Ratatoskr, carrying messages between distant realms. Even these beings, though diverse in purpose and nature, contribute to the quiet balance that Yggdrasil maintains, a testament to the interconnectedness of all life. Above, the branches of Yggdrasil stretch into the heavens, holding the shimmering halls of the gods and the soft glows of distant stars. Bifrost, the rainbow bridge, arcs gently from the upper branches down toward Midgard, a luminous pathway connecting realms without haste or tension. Imagine walking along its soft, radiant arc, feeling the gentle support beneath your feet, the quiet brilliance illuminating your path. Through this bridge, gods and mortals may traverse, yet remains unobtrusive, a calm connection rather than a forceful or overwhelming presence. Its colors blend seamlessly into landscape, like light filtering through mist, guiding without demand and supporting without strain. The inhabitants of Yggdrasil are varied, yet each adds to the tree's quiet majesty. The dragon NHGR gnaws at the roots, a soft reminder of the inevitability of decay and change, yet it does so as part of the natural order, never abruptly, never destructively. The eagle perched high among the branches watches silently, its gaze penetrating, a symbol of clarity and understanding. Between them scurries Ratatoskr, carrying messages and connecting distant parts of the tree, illustrating that even small actions, carried with care and consistency, sustain the harmony of the cosmos. This ecosystem, moving in soft rhythms, demonstrates a gentle interplay of forces, each with its role, each contributing to the calm continuity of all that exists. Yggdrasil itself is alive, a conscious presence that senses the rhythms and needs of the realms it supports. Its sway mirrors the subtle pulses of energy, the breathing of the world, and the gentle passage of time. Its vast branches shelter and protect, while its deep roots anchor and nurture. The tree is both strong and delicate, a paradox of nature made manifest, reminding all who encounter it that stability and adaptability, power and gentleness, coexist in quiet harmony. To dwell mentally beneath its branches, to trace its roots with the imagination, is to experience the serenity of the universe itself, a slow, unhurried connection to the flow of existence. Even the changes within Yggdrasil are gradual and measured. Seasons pass, leaves fall and grow anew, rivers shift course, and creatures move in soft patterns. All without urgency, all maintaining the balance that the tree embodies. The myths do not present these events as violent or chaotic, but as necessary movements in the slow, harmonious pulse of the cosmos. Yggdrasil's endurance over time, despite threats, decay, and challenges, illustrates the timeless principle of resilience through calm strength, patience, and steady care. To imagine Yggdrasil in the quiet of night is to picture a scene of serene interconnectedness. Its branches stretch across the sky, lightly brushing the stars, while its roots hold the depths of the cosmos together. Streams glisten softly along the roots, leaves rustle in an imperceptible wind, and the inhabitants move in gentle rhythms. The tree is a sanctuary, a support system, and a reminder that even in vast complexity, there is a slow, deliberate order. Its presence is a balm to the mind, a soft reassurance that all realms, all beings, and all events are tied together in a calm, unbroken pattern. As you imagine Yggdrasil now, let your thoughts drift along its branches and roots. Feel the gentle support of its vast trunk and listen to the subtle hum of life flowing through its veins. Sense the balance of the 9 realms, the quiet vigilance of the Norns, the soft movements of creatures large and small. Let your mind align with the rhythm of the tree, inhaling the calm stability it embodies, exhaling any tension or restlessness. In the quiet expanses of Yggdrasil, the entire cosmos find harmony, a gentle reminder that even in complexity, peace and continuity are always present. Ragnarok, often imagined as a cataclysm of fire, ice, and clashing gods, carries within a deeper, quieter rhythm, a gentle cycle of endings that naturally leads to renewal. In the myths, It is not only a story of destruction, but a soft meditation on change, the impermanence of all things, and the peaceful continuity of life even through apparent upheaval. Imagine the world in its slow transformation, the sky gradually darkening not with sudden violence, but with a steady, inevitable shift, like the fading of twilight into night. The 9 realms hold their breath as subtle forces move, unseen yet constant, guiding events with a quiet inevitability, preparing for transitions that are part of existence itself. The story of Ragnarok begins not in chaos but in warning, the soft signals of imbalance rippling gently across the realms. The Norns, weavers of fate, move with calm deliberation, their threads vibrating with the impending shifts of time. The gods and creatures of the 9 realms sense the slow stirrings of change, each perceiving it in their own way. There is tension, yes, but it is measured, like the gradual swell of a tide preparing to touch the shore. Even the harshest events in these tales are framed not as abrupt catastrophe, but as a natural movement of cycles, teaching that endings are merely preludes to beginnings, and that renewal is always embedded within conclusion. Odin, the All-Father, contemplates the approach of Ragnarok with quiet understanding rather than panic. He knows that the threads of fate cannot be severed by force, only acknowledged and navigated with wisdom. Picture him seated beneath Yggdrasil, listening to the whispers of leaves and the distant murmur of rivers, sensing the slow unfolding of events. His calm presence allows the other gods to find balance and maintain clarity, even as the inevitability of the coming end draws near. Through Odin, the myths teach patience, measured observation, and the strength found in understanding the larger rhythm of the cosmos, rather than reacting impulsively to its shifts. Thor, too, approaches Ragnarok not merely as a warrior, but as a guardian aware of the cycles that govern life. He does not strike blindly or with reckless fury. Instead, each action is deliberate, aimed at maintaining balance and protecting as many lives as possible in the transition that is to come. Imagine him walking through misty valleys, his hammer Mjolnir in hand, moving steadily and with purpose, prepared to confront what must be faced while still embodying calm resolve. Even in battle, his strength is measured and rhythmic, a quiet force of nature maintaining order amidst the natural course of change. His courage is not chaotic. It is composed, deliberate, and guided by the understanding that life, like all things, must evolve. Loki's presence in the tales of Ragnarok introduces subtle disruptions, but even his mischief served the slow unfolding of fate. He is not an agent of chaos for its own sake, but a necessary participant in the cycles of renewal. Imagine him moving silently among the shifting landscapes, a shadow navigating the delicate transitions, nudging events in ways that, though unpredictable, ultimately lead to a rebalancing of forces. His role illustrates that change often arises from subtle, unseen influences, and that every action, even one that appears disruptive, contributes to the larger pattern of existence. It is a quiet reminder that transformation requires both stability and flexibility, and that even mischief has a purpose in the rhythm of life. The creatures of the 9 realms, from Fenrir to Jormungandr, also play their parts in Ragnarok with inevitability rather than abruptness. The wolf, the serpent, and other beings move through the unfolding events as though tracing a natural path, each action a step in a slow, deliberate choreography that shapes the cosmos. Even in their most dramatic confrontations, there is a rhythm, a cadence, a sense that the universe itself is breathing through their movements. These stories convey the gentle lesson that destruction is rarely chaotic. It is patterned, interconnected, and ultimately contributes to renewal, much like autumn leaves return to soil to nourish the next spring. Amidst the unfolding events, Baldur's earlier fate resonates softly through the narrative. His light, though temporarily diminished, is not lost. It lingers as a memory, a gentle reminder of goodness and harmony. Even in the chaos of Ragnarok, Baldur's presence is felt like a soft glow, guiding those who remain and offering reassurance that endings are never absolute. The myth suggests that even when a world seems collapsed, there is continuity, a persistence of essence that survives through change. It is a subtle, reflective teaching that even in times of transition, beauty, wisdom, and light endure, quietly shaping the world yet to come. Yggdrasil itself responds to the approach of Ragnarok with a slow, deliberate adjustment, its branches swaying gently, its roots absorbing and distributing the energy of impending events. The tree embodies a calm order underlying the apparent tumult, a reminder that even in periods of great transformation, stability persists at the core. Imagine standing beneath its vast branches as storms gather in the distance, feeling the slow hum of life flowing through the trunk, the quiet reassurance that the cosmos itself is resilient. The tree's presence soothes and anchors, illustrating that change, while inevitable, is also a natural and necessary part of existence, and that life continues even through cycles of dissolution. As the final battles unfold, the myths focus not on chaos but on the measured consequences of choices, the inevitable intersections of fate, and the quiet restoration that follows. The end of one cycle is framed as preparation for the next, a seamless continuation rather than abrupt termination. Picture the scattered realms, gently reshaping, with survivors tending to the land, rebuilding with care and patience, and the subtle glow of renewal beginning to emerge through the ashes. Ragnarok is, in essence, a story of transformation, illustrating the general principle that endings are part of a larger rhythm, and that continuity is maintained through resilience, awareness, and deliberate adaptation. In this way, the narrative of Ragnarok becomes a meditation, a calm exploration of impermanence and renewal rather than a tale of sheer destruction. It invites the listener to reflect on the cycles in their own life, to recognize that change, though sometimes inevitable and challenging, is a natural rhythm to be observed and understood. Through the stories of gods, creatures, and the living world tree, the myths convey that patience, foresight, and gentle acceptance allow beings to navigate transitions without fear, finding stability and continuity even amidst profound transformation. As you imagine the unfolding of Ragnarok in your mind, let your breath slow, your thoughts soften, and your awareness extend to the gentle rhythms of the cosmos. Picture Odin, Thor, Heimdall, and the others moving to the unfolding events with calm purpose. Feel the sway of Yggdrasil, the whisper of the Norns at Urd's well, and the soft glow of Baldur's enduring light. Allow the story to drift over you like a slow river, each element of myth contributing to a serene understanding of cycles, endings, and renewal. Let this gentle reflection settle in your mind, preparing you for the next stories yet to emerge in the vast, interconnected tapestry of Norse mythology. The Norns, three quiet and timeless figures, weave the threads of fate beneath the shadow of Yggdrasil, their movements slow, deliberate, and profoundly intentional. Imagine them in a hidden glade at the base of the world tree, surrounded by soft light filtering through the branches, the gentle ripple of Urd's well at their feet. They are neither hurried nor abrupt. Their hands move in a steady rhythm, intertwining threads that stretch across time and space, linking the lives of gods, humans, and creatures alike. Each movement is meaningful, precise, and calm, a reminder that destiny is a flowing current rather than a sudden storm, and that every event, however small, contributes to the greater tapestry of existence. The eldest Norn, Ord, embodies what has been. Her thread stretches into the past, carrying the echoes of choices, experiences, and consequences. Imagine the soft, rhythmic weaving of her fingers, each knot and loop recording quiet memories and enduring lessons. The air around her is still, yet full of subtle vibrations, like faint echoes of distant waterfalls or the rustling of leaves after a gentle wind. Through Ord, the listener senses a continuity of life, the soft hum of history threading its way into the present, a constant reminder that past actions influence the present with gentle persistence rather than abrupt interruption. Verdandi, representing the present, moves with careful awareness, attuned to the flow of life as it unfolds. Her thread is dynamic yet measured, capturing the essence of choices made, the unfolding of moments, and the subtle interactions that shape the current state of the world. Picture her observing quietly as mortals and gods go about their lives, noting the small gestures, the soft exchanges, the quiet decisions that collectively form the texture of existence. Her calm attentiveness illustrates that the present is never chaotic. It is a continuous, flowing pattern, shaped by perception, awareness, and gentle guidance. Verdandi reminds us that even the smallest moments hold meaning and contribute to the rhythm of life. The youngest, Skuld, reaches toward what is yet to come, her thread stretching into the future, carrying possibilities and latent events that have not yet materialized. She moves with measured foresight, sensing patterns before they emerge, but never forcing outcomes. Imagine her gazing softly at distant horizons, her hands adjusting threads with subtle precision, ensuring that each potential path is gently woven into the broader design of the cosmos. Her presence conveys calm certainty, a reminder that the future is shaped through the gradual unfolding of choices rather than sudden, unmanageable disruptions. Even the most unforeseen events are gently guided, like leaves floating along a slow river current, finding their place in the tapestry of time. The interplay between Ord, Verdandi, and Skuld illustrates the delicate balance of past, present, and future, each thread flowing into the other in seamless continuity. The myth suggests that fate is neither rigid nor random, but a slow, interconnected process, with the Norns as quiet facilitators rather than controlling forces. Their weaving is like the soft, rhythmic movement of tides, the gentle breathing of the earth, or the slow growth of a tree. Through their calm diligence, the 9 realms are maintained in balance, and every action, however minor it may seem, is imbued with significance and purpose. The Norns' influence extends to gods and mortals alike, affecting lives in subtle ways that are often unnoticed yet profoundly shaping. A quiet decision by a human, a thoughtful act by a god, or even a seemingly random event is linked through their threads in intricate patterns. Picture the soft glimmer of these threads, stretching invisibly across the cosmos, connecting moments and choices with delicate precision. The myths emphasize that understanding and respecting these connections leads to clarity and harmony, and that patience and observation are as vital as action in navigating life's complexities. Their work is continuous, never hurried, and never forced. The Norns maintain a rhythm that mirrors the natural cycles of the world. The slow rotation of the seasons, the gentle flow of rivers, the gradual rise and fall of tides. Each thread is woven with care, each not a quiet decision, each intersection a moment of connection. Imagine sitting near Ord's well, feeling the soft vibrations of the threads, hearing the distant rustle of leaves, and sensing the calm order that underlies the apparent randomness of life. Their presence reassures that even in moments of uncertainty, there is a steady framework guiding events, and that fate is a gentle river, not a violent storm. The myths also suggest that the Norns' weaving is influenced by observation rather than interference. They do not impose outcomes abruptly or violently. Rather, they provide the structure within which events unfold naturally. Imagine them watching silently as the gods deliberate, as humans make choices, and as the natural world flows, their threads gently adjusting to maintain balance and continuity. This quiet attention ensures that the unfolding of fate remains harmonious, a delicate interplay of freedom, consequence, and inevitability. Their work embodies a philosophy of gentle stewardship, illustrating that true influence arises from awareness and patience rather than coercion or force. The Norns' presence reminds the listener of the interconnectedness of all things. Every life, every action, every moment is linked in subtle ways, forming a web that is simultaneously vast and delicate. Their threads can be imagined as a soft lattice, holding the 9 realms together, guiding the flow of events, and preserving the balance between chaos and order. Through their calm and consistent weaving, they teach that the universe operates according to principles that are at once gentle, deliberate, and enduring, and that understanding these principles provides insight, reassurance, and peace. As you imagine the Norns moving quietly beneath Yggdrasil, let the rhythm of their weaving synchronize with your own breath. Picture each thread as a soft, glowing line stretching across space and time, each not a deliberate pause, each intersection a moment of balance. Feel the gentle hum of continuity and the soft pulse of order that flows through the 9 realms. Let your mind drift along these threads. Understand that the unfolding of life is neither abrupt nor chaotic, but a calm, deliberate process in which every choice and event has its place. The presence of the Norns is a quiet meditation, a soothing reminder that even the vast complexity of the cosmos is guided by slow, careful, and intentional movements. In this calm reflection, the Norns become guides through both the myths and the listener's own experience. Their weaving illustrates that time is a continuous flow, that actions ripple outward with gentle influence, and that life's patterns, though intricate, are always moving in harmony with the larger rhythm of existence. Imagine yourself walking quietly beneath the world tree, feeling the soft pull of threads connecting past, present, and future, sensing that every step you take is a part of this gentle, interconnected tapestry. In this way, the Norns embody the serene principle that life is guided not by abrupt force, but by quiet, persistent care, and that understanding this flow allows the mind to rest the spirit to settle, and the heart to appreciate the calm beauty of the unfolding cosmos. The giants, or Jotnar, inhabit the edges of the nine realms, their presence a quiet reminder that strength and influence exist in many forms. They are not merely forces of chaos or opposition. Rather, they represent the natural and elemental powers that coexist alongside gods and humans. Imagine the giants moving through misty mountains or along quiet riverbanks, their immense forms blending with the landscape, a part of the natural world rather than apart from it. Their size and strength are imposing, yet their movements can be measured, deliberate, and surprisingly calm, echoing the rhythms of the earth itself. In the myths, they embody patience, endurance, and the subtle force of change that shapes existence in ways both gentle and profound. The Jotnar are deeply intertwined with the lives of gods and mortals, sometimes as challengers, sometimes as teachers, and often as companions in the unfolding story of the cosmos. Their influence is neither immediate nor loud. It is slow, pervasive, and often unnoticed until its effects ripple outward. Imagine a giant gently shifting a boulder along a mountainside, redirecting the flow of a river, or quietly shaping the valleys and forests over centuries. These actions, though seemingly small in a mythic sense, carry consequences that reach far beyond the moment, illustrating that change often works subtly, in quiet persistence rather than in sudden upheaval. Frost giants, or Hrimthasar, emerge from the cold and distant regions of the cosmos, embodying the quiet, relentless force of ice and winter. Their presence is stark yet calm, a reflection of endurance and the slow shaping power of frozen landscapes. Imagine them moving across snowy plains, each step deliberate, each breath visible in the crisp air as the quiet cold settles around them. They challenge gods not through chaos or anger, but by existing as natural, immutable forces that must be respected and understood. Their lessons are subtle. The world contains elements beyond immediate control, and wisdom lies in observing, adapting, and harmonizing with these forces rather than confronting them recklessly. Fire giants, or Jotnar, in contrast, emerge from realms of heat and flame, bringing energy, transformation, and the potential for creation and destruction alike. Their presence is vivid yet controlled, like the slow burn of embers in a hearth or the distant glow of a volcano. Picture a fire giant walking through a dimly lit valley, each movement radiating warmth, energy, and the quiet potential for transformation. The myth suggests that even the most powerful forces, if approached with patience and respect, can be navigated calmly, their energy directed rather than resisted. Fire giant are reminders that change, though sometimes intense, can be understood as a natural process of growth and renewal, not merely as a threat. The relationships between giants and gods are complex, layered with subtlety and nuance rather than simple opposition. Giants are sometimes adversaries, sometimes allies, and sometimes sources of knowledge, wisdom, or essential resources. Their interactions are rarely hurried or chaotic. Instead, they unfold over time through negotiation, observation, and careful action. Imagine a god seeking guidance from a giant atop a windswept mountain, their conversation calm and deliberate, each word carrying meaning and consequence. These moments illustrate that even in myth, understanding and collaboration are often more effective than forceful confrontation, and that the quiet exchange of insight can shape events as powerfully as any battle. Other cosmic beings, such as dwarfs, elves, and spirits, also contribute to the subtle rhythm of the nine realms. Dwarfs, masters of craftsmanship, work in quiet, dimly lit halls beneath mountains, creating objects of power and beauty with steady hands and patient minds. Their influence is tangible yet soft, shaping the tools and treasures that the gods and mortals rely upon. Elves inhabit forests and glades, moving through their realms with grace, nurturing life, and maintaining harmony in ways that are gentle and ongoing. These beings, like the giants, illustrate that influence in the Norse cosmos often operates through care, patience, and subtle guidance rather than overt force. The Jotnar, dwarfs, and elves together create a sense of depth and interconnectedness in the myths. Each has its role in maintaining balance, demonstrating that the cosmos is not governed solely by power or violence, but by the quiet interplay of diverse forces. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, observing the soft sway of trees, the gentle movement of animals, and the distant shapes of giants shaping the landscape. There is a rhythm, a cadence, a sense that all beings contribute to the world's ongoing flow, each movement small yet meaningful, each presence reinforcing the quiet stability of existence. The myths also suggest that the Jotnar and other cosmic beings often embody qualities that the gods themselves admire or require. Strength, endurance, knowledge, and subtle influence are all attributes that, when recognized and respected, support harmony rather than conflict. For example, a frost giant's patience may teach a god restraint, a fire giant's transformative energy may inspire creation, and a dwarf's craftsmanship may provide tools for protection or growth. These lessons are delivered gently, through observation and reflection rather than force, encouraging listeners to notice the quiet wisdom that resides in unexpected places. Even in moments of tension, the giants and other beings are not framed as purely destructive. Their actions are purposeful, measured, and consistent with their nature. Imagine a frost giant shifting an ice block in a frozen river, indirectly guiding its flow and shaping the landscape without aggression. The story is calm, observational, and patient, emphasizing the inherent order within apparent chaos. Similarly, a dwarf crafting a sword in the depths of a mountain is not depicted in haste or rage, but with care, focus, and quiet concentration, reflecting the subtle mastery that shapes both the physical and spiritual realms. These narratives underscore that influence, guidance, and change need not be loud or violent. They can be soft, deliberate, and enduring. In contemplating these cosmic beings, listeners are invited to consider the broader patterns of life and the gentle forces that shape it. The giants, dwarfs, elves, and spirits each represent aspects of nature, wisdom, and resilience that are essential to maintaining balance in the 9 realms. Their presence reassures that even immense strength can be tempered with patience, even fire and ice can coexist with calm, and that subtle influence often outweighs overt force. The myths teach that understanding, observation, and harmony are as vital as raw power, providing a serene framework for navigating the complexity of existence. As you imagine the giants and other beings moving quietly through their domains, notice the soft rhythm of their actions, the deliberate flow of energy to the landscapes they inhabit, and the gentle impact they have on the world around them. Feel the slow, steady cadence of their presence, the subtle guidance they provide, and the calm influence that pervades the 9 realms. In this way, the myths offer a meditation on patience, balance, and quiet power, inviting the listener to rest, reflect, and appreciate the interconnected harmony of all things, from the smallest elf to the largest giant, each contributing to the soft, enduring rhythm of the cosmos. Runes, the ancient symbols etched into stone, wood, or metal, carry with them a quiet resonance, a subtle language of wisdom and magic that threads through the fabric of Norse mythology. Imagine each rune not merely as a mark, but as a soft vibration in the world, a gentle echo of forces both natural and divine. They are more than tools for writing. They are instruments of understanding, channels through which insight, foresight, and subtle influence flow. As you picture them, their forms glowing faintly in soft light. Feel the quiet power embedded in their shapes, each line and curve a pathway to knowledge, a bridge between thought and the mysteries of the cosmos. The magic of runes is closely linked to Odin, who sacrificed deeply to gain their understanding. He hung from Yggdrasil, pierced by his own spear, enduring the slow passage of time in contemplation, surrendering to the rhythm of discovery and patience. From this quiet trial emerged profound insight into runes, their meanings, and their applications, revealing the soft, underlying patterns of life and fate. Imagine Odin's presence high in the branches of the world tree, his eyes closed, listening to the gentle pulse of the cosmos, absorbing subtle vibrations, and letting the runes reveal themselves through calm observation. This moment is not one of violent revelation, but a slow, deliberate attainment of wisdom through patience and attentiveness. Each rune carries a distinct energy, a subtle guidance for those attuned to its message. Fehu, the rune of wealth and abundance, is not about immediate gain or loud prosperity, but about the patient cultivation of resources, the quiet accumulation of sustenance, and the thoughtful sharing of what one has. Uras, symbolizing strength and vitality, reminds listeners that true power is grounded in endurance, self-awareness, and measured action rather than sudden displays of force. As you picture these runes softly glowing, imagine their influence spreading gently across the world, shaping choices and outcomes with quiet precision, like sunlight filtering through branches of a dense forest, touching every leaf with warmth and clarity. The practice of seed, a form of Norse magic often associated with Freya and other figures, complements the subtle guidance of the runes. Seed involves weaving possibilities, perceiving threads of potential futures, and gently influencing outcomes with measured care. Picture a practitioner sitting quietly in a dimly lit hall or forest clearing, hands tracing soft patterns in the air, voice murmuring incantations that ripple through time and space. The magic is calm, intentional, and delicate, shaping events in ways that are not overtly forceful but profoundly effective. It is a reminder that influence, when applied with awareness and patience, can guide the world gently without resorting to coercion or haste. Runes and seed together form a language of connection between the seen and unseen, the material and the spiritual. Imagine the practitioner casting runes upon the ground or into water. Each mark a whisper, a message, a suggestion rather than a command. Through this quiet practice, the flow of life can be understood, anticipated, and harmonized with, providing a sense of calm insight into the unfolding of events. The magic is not chaotic. It is intentional, measured, and deeply reflective, emphasizing the principle that understanding comes from observation, contemplation, and subtle action rather than immediate reaction. The myth suggests that these forms of magic, like all other forces in the 9 realms, operate best when applied with patience and wisdom. The practitioner must be attuned to the natural rhythms of the world, listening to the quiet signals, observing subtle patterns, and acting with deliberate care. Imagine tracing a rune with fingertips, feeling the carved grooves, sensing the vibration of its energy, and allowing its meaning to gently unfold within the mind. This slow, reflective process mirrors the broader rhythm of Norse mythology, where power is often quiet, persistent, and integrated with a natural order rather than imposed upon it. Seed, while powerful, also emphasizes responsibility and restraint. Those who practice it must be aware of the consequences of their actions, understanding that even small adjustments can ripple across the 9 realms. Imagine moving through a forest, casting subtle spells to encourage growth or guide the path of travelers, doing so with awareness and care. Each action, though gentle, has lasting effect, reminding the practitioner that true mastery is not an loud display of power, but in the quiet, consistent, and mindful shaping of the world. It is a meditation in motion, a blending of observation, intention, and patience. The interaction between runes, seed, and the broader cosmic order illustrates the delicate balance maintained in the myths. Odin, Freya, and other practitioners operate within the rhythms of the 9 realms, their magic aligned with the natural cycles of time, fate, and existence. Imagine them sitting under Yggdrasil, observing the soft sway of branches, the trickle of Urd's well, and the gentle movement of creatures along the roots. Each magical action harmonizes with these subtle currents, ensuring that outcomes flow smoothly rather than forcefully. The lessons imparted here are quiet but profound. Awareness, patience, and careful alignment with natural rhythms create influence far more enduring than raw power alone. Even the most dramatic stories of magic in Norse mythology are framed with subtlety. Enchantments, divinations, and runic wisdom often unfold slowly, their effects spreading like ripples across a pond. A single rune might illuminate a path, a whispered spell might shift a decision, and a careful observation might alter the flow of events. These narratives emphasize that the power of knowledge and foresight is gentle, persistent, and integrated into the quiet order of the universe. There is no urgency, no chaos, only the measured application of insight and harmony with the world. As you imagine the runes glowing softly and the practitioner weaving seed beneath Yggdrasil, feel the gentle pulse of energy flowing through the 9 realms. Sense the quiet rhythm of magic, the subtle guidance of fate, and the serene alignment of all forces working together. Let this calm awareness settle into your mind, like a soft echo of wisdom that resonates through your thoughts, slowing your breathing, easing your tension, and preparing you for the deeper exploration of myths yet to unfold. In this space, magic is not dramatic or frightening. It is quiet, deliberate, and reassuring, a gentle reflection of the order, beauty, and interconnectedness of the Norse cosmos. Through the study of runes and the practice of seed, the myths offer a meditation on influence, responsibility, and understanding. They teach that power is most effective when calm, thoughtful, and aligned with natural rhythms, that knowledge carries weight only when paired with patience, and that even subtle actions can ripple across the world with profound effect. Imagine the quiet glow of a rune, the gentle movement of practitioners' hands, and the soft hum of energy flowing through the air. In these moments, the listener is invited to feel the serenity of deliberate wisdom, the calm strength of mindful action, and the enduring beauty of magic that moves with the slow, unhurried pulse of the cosmos. Loki, the trickster, moves through Norse mythology not as a figure of unrestrained chaos, but as a subtle current, weaving change in ways that are quiet, deliberate, and often unexpected. Imagine him gliding through forests, along riverbanks and across mountains, his presence almost imperceptible, a soft ripple across the surface of the world. His influence is not loud or violent, but like a gentle wind shifting leaves, altering paths, and nudging events in new directions. In the myths, Loki embodies the idea that change often comes softly, through ingenuity, mischief, and the careful manipulation of circumstances, rather than through brute force or confrontation. Unlike other gods who embody clear, constant principles such as Thor's strength or Baldur's radiance, Loki is fluid, adaptable, and unpredictable. He represents the quiet intelligence that observes, calculates, and acts with subtlety. Imagine him watching a distant valley, noting the slow movements of both mortals and gods, anticipating the ripple effect of his actions, and choosing precise moment to intervene. His interventions are not chaotic for its own sake. They are soft instruments of transformation, reminders that even in a world governed by fate, there is room for ingenuity, adaptation, and unexpected turns. Through Loki, the myths teach that flexibility, observation, and cleverness are forms of power just as enduring as physical strength or radiant light. Loki's relationships with the other gods are complex, layered, and nuanced. He is at times a companion, a helper, a provocateur, and occasionally an adversary. Imagine him in the quiet halls of Asgard, seated near Odin or Thor, his smile barely perceptible, suggesting possibilities that might otherwise be overlooked. His words carry subtle influence, planting ideas, gently nudging decisions, and creating paths that encourage both reflection and action. These moments highlight that influence does not need to be forceful to be significant. A quiet suggestion or a clever insight can ripple outward, altering outcomes in profound ways over time. The trickster's role extends beyond mere mischief. It is often a catalyst for growth, learning, and adaptation. His actions, while sometimes challenging or disruptive, prompt gods and mortals alike to reconsider, adjust, and strengthen their understanding of the world. Picture a situation where a seemingly minor inconvenience, orchestrated by Loki, leads to a new solution, a novel strategy, or a deeper insight. The myth suggests that change, though occasionally uncomfortable, is necessary for balance and evolution, and that the trickster's subtle guidance, though not always immediately understood, is part of the gentle flow of the cosmos. Even disruption, when approached thoughtfully, can be constructive. Loki also embodies a delicate interplay of duality, the coexistence of light and shadow, order and flexibility, intent and consequence. He demonstrates that what may appear as disorder on the surface often has an underlying purpose when observed with patience and awareness. Imagine him moving silently along the edge of a forest, unseen yet aware, his presence subtly influencing events like the soft shaping of clouds by a gentle breeze. The myths encourage reflection on this duality, suggesting that growth, adaptation, and resilience often arise from the quiet interplay of contrasting forces, much like the balancing of night and day or the gentle ebb and flow of tides. Despite his playful, mischievous nature, Loki's actions are never completely arbitrary. Each plan, each jest, each subtle disruption is rooted in perception, observation, and timing. Picture him watching from a distance, noting patterns, listening to the faintest sounds, and choosing precisely when and where to act. There is a calm deliberation in his movements, a rhythm that parallels the natural cycles of the 9 realms. Even when his interventions create tension or challenges, there is a slow, deliberate logic to them, revealing that influence and change need not be abrupt or forceful to be effective. Loki's influence extends to the unfolding of fate, highlighting the interaction between free will and destiny in Norse mythology. While the Norns weave the threads of fate with patience and precision, Loki introduces soft, unpredictable variations, nudging events along paths that may not have been immediately apparent. Imagine him moving alongside these threads, observing without disrupting the fundamental flow, yet gently altering patterns in ways that shift outcomes over time. The myths illustrate that life is a combination of inevitability and flexibility, and that even subtle, clever actions can guide the course of events in meaningful ways without undermining the steady rhythm of fate. His transformative role is also evident in the stories surrounding the gods' challenges and solutions. When faced with obstacles, Loki often presents unconventional approaches, solutions wrapped in humor, cleverness, or misdirection. Imagine him offering a quiet suggestion in the Hall of Asgard, pointing to a solution that initially seems counterintuitive, but slowly reveals itself as effective and insightful. The myths emphasize that growth and adaptation are not always linear. Sometimes subtle, unexpected influences provide the path forward, and the trickster, in his quiet, patient way, helps the gods and the listener understand the value of flexible thinking. Even when Loki's mischief results in chaos or discomfort, the stories frame these events within a calm, reflective lens rather than as abrupt calamities. Picture the aftermath of one of the schemes. Challenges arise, lessons are learned, and life continues, guided by the quiet balance of consequences and reflection. The myths do not glorify disruption for its own sake. Instead, they illustrate that even challenging events have a role in the broader harmony of the nine realms. Loki, in his subtlety, becomes a teacher of resilience, adaptability, and the gentle art of navigating uncertainty. As you imagine Loki moving through the nine realms, notice the quiet rhythm of his presence, the soft influence of his cleverness, and the calm intelligence behind his actions. Feel the gentle currents of change he introduces, like invisible ripples across a still pond, slowly reaching distant shores. His role reminds listeners that even in a world guided by fate, there is space for ingenuity, subtlety, and creative intervention, and that these qualities, exercised with awareness, can shape outcomes in profound and lasting ways. Through the stories of Loki, the myths offer meditation on change, subtle influence, and the quiet power of cleverness. His presence encourages patience, reflection, and careful observation, teaching that disruption, when understood and guided, can lead to growth, balance, and new possibilities. Imagine the trickster's movements like a soft wind across a forest, each leaf gently stirred, each branch subtly shifted, with no sudden violence but profound effect. The narratives invite the listener to rest, observe, and appreciate the delicate currents of change that flow through life, and to recognize the quiet, enduring impact of ingenuity, timing, and awareness in shaping the world. In this calm reflection, Loki becomes more than a mischievous figure. He is a symbol of the subtle forces that guide transformation, a reminder that change, though sometimes gentle and imperceptible, carries great significance. As you picture him moving silently, influencing events, and nudging choices in quiet ways, allow the rhythm of his presence to harmonize with your own thoughts. Feel the soft pulse of innovation, flexibility, and cleverness, and let it settle into your mind like a gentle current, preparing you for the unfolding stories yet to come in the vast tapestry of Norse mythology. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and magic, moves through Norse mythology with quiet elegance, her presence a gentle force that nurtures, inspires, and subtly shapes the flow of the nine realms. Imagine her walking through golden meadows or along softly flowing streams, her steps leaving a sense of calm vitality in the air, a warmth that touches everything around her. She embodies more than attraction or desire. She represents the power of connection, the subtle ways in which love, care, and attention influence life, and the quiet energy that nurtures growth and harmony. Her influence is not loud or demanding, but soft, persistent, and enduring, like sunlight filtering through morning mist, gradually illuminating and warming the world. Freya's role as a goddess of magic, particularly siege, complements her qualities of love and beauty. Picture her sitting beneath the branches of Yggdrasil, weaving spells and guiding energy with deliberate, patient hands. Her magic is subtle, deeply connected to the rhythms of the natural world, and aligned with the flow of fate as woven by the Norns. Unlike forceful power, Freya's influence works quietly, like the gentle shaping of a river over time or the steady growth of trees in a forest. Her spells, whether for guidance, protection, or insight, ripple through the nine realms with soft effectiveness, a reminder that true magic often manifests as subtle, deliberate action rather than dramatic display. In matters of love and connection, Freya illustrates the gentle, enduring influence of emotional bonds. She fosters relationships, inspires loyalty, and nurtures understanding, often acting quietly behind the scenes to support harmony among gods, mortals, and even cosmic beings. Imagine her presence as a soft glow in a dimly lit hall, calming tensions, soothing hearts, and offering wisdom through gentle gestures or carefully chosen words. The myth suggests that her subtle interventions guide relationships toward balance and understanding, showing that influence does not always need to be forceful to be profoundly transformative. Through Freya, listeners are invited to reflect on the quiet power of empathy, attention, and care in shaping the world. Freya's interactions with other gods demonstrate her ability to blend diplomacy, wisdom, and quiet strength. She moves gracefully through complex situations, navigating conflicts with tact, foresight, and subtle influence. Picture her mediating between Thor and Loki, or advising Odin with soft insight, her words carrying calm authority and gentle encouragement. Her actions emphasize that leadership and power need not be loud or domineering. Instead, patience, understanding, and careful guidance can achieve outcomes that resonate with harmony and balance. The myths frame her as a stabilizing presence, illustrating the enduring effectiveness of calm influence amidst a world often characterized by struggle and tension. Her magical abilities also extend to matters of insight and foresight, allowing her to perceive subtle patterns and potential outcomes before they unfold. Imagine Freya gazing into reflective waters or quiet pools, her attention absorbing the faint ripples that signal future events. Her understanding of these patterns enables her to guide others gently, steering actions and choices with foresight rather than coercion. This quiet wisdom reflects a central theme in Norse mythology, that true power is intertwined with patience, observation, and deliberate action, and that insight, when applied thoughtfully, can shape outcomes more effectively than force or haste. Freya's connection to love, beauty, and magic extends even to the natural world. She influences the growth of plants, the movement of animals, and the harmony of the elements, often in ways imperceptible yet profoundly significant. Picture her walking through a forest, her presence causing flowers to bloom subtly, streams to flow smoothly, and animals to move with calm awareness. These gentle interactions demonstrate the quiet, nurturing force of care and attention, illustrating that even small, deliberate actions can have lasting effects on the broader balance of the 9 realms. Through this lens, the myths offer meditation on the soft, enduring power of influence that comes from connection, observation, and empathy. In addition to nurturing life, Freya's magic also aids in personal growth and transformation. She encourages courage, resilience, and a pursuit of understanding, often through experiences that challenge yet gently guide those involved. Imagine a mortal or god facing a difficult choice, sensing her quiet presence as a source of reassurance, inspiration, and clarity. Her influence does not remove obstacles or dictate outcomes. Rather, it provides a subtle guidance needed to navigate challenges with grace and confidence. In this way, Freya exemplifies the principle that true support empowers others, allowing them to grow while maintaining the natural flow of events. Freya's role in love and magic also highlights the interconnectedness of all things. Her relationships with gods, giants, mortals, and other beings illustrate that influence flows quietly through networks of connection, with each interaction creating subtle ripples across the 9 realms. Imagine her moving through a hall of gods, a field of mortals, or the quiet edges of a giant's domain, each step leaving a trace of harmony, balance, and gentle persuasion. The myth suggests that understanding and nurturing these connections is key to maintaining equilibrium in life, and that even subtle gestures, acts of kindness, or carefully considered words can have enduring effects across time and space. Even in moments of conflict or tension, Freya's presence is calming, her influence guiding events toward resolution rather than escalation. Picture a dispute between gods or mortals, the air heavy with unspoken tension, and imagine her stepping softly into the scene, her words and actions diffusing anger, encouraging reflection, and restoring balance. Her approach is neither abrupt nor forceful. It is slow, deliberate, and harmonizing, demonstrating that influence rooted in patience, empathy, and understanding can achieve profound outcomes without the need for confrontation or dominance. Through her example, the myths emphasize the enduring power of quiet strength and deliberate action. As you imagine Freya moving through the 9 realms, sense the calm, radiant energy that surrounds her. Feel the gentle pulse of love, magic, and insight flowing outward, touching everything it encounters. Notice how her presence encourages reflection, nurtures growth, and supports balance, like the soft warmth of sunlight on a chilly morning or the gentle rhythm of waves lapping against a quiet shore. Her influence is a meditation in motion, a serene force that reminds the listener the value of patience, observation, and gentle guidance in shaping both personal and cosmic harmony. Through Freya, the myths offer a model of quiet power, subtle influence, and enduring care. She illustrates that love, wisdom, and magic are most effective when applied with patience, attentiveness, and awareness of the broader rhythm of life. Her actions ripple softly through the 9 realms, encouraging balance, harmony, and understanding, while leaving a lasting imprint on those who encounter her presence. Imagine following her through forests, meadows, and halls of gods, feeling the calm strength of her influence, and letting it settle into your mind like a soft, steady pulse that guides thought, reflection, and breath. In this quiet reflection, Freya becomes more than a goddess. She is a symbol of the subtle, persistent forces that shape life, a gentle reminder that influence is most enduring when it is calm, measured, and harmonized with the natural flow of existence. As you picture her walking to the 9 realms, weaving magic and nurturing connection, allow the rhythm of her presence to become part of your own awareness. Feel the soft warmth, the quiet guidance, and the enduring calm of her influence, preparing the mind for the next stories and lessons hidden within the rich, interconnected tapestry of Norse mythology. Heimdall, the vigilant guardian of the Bifrost, stands as a quiet sentinel, observing the 9 realms with calm precision and unwavering attention. Imagine him perched at the edge of the Rainbow Bridge, the soft glow of twilight reflecting across the sky, his gaze steady and attentive. His duty is not only to guard the passage between realms, but to maintain harmony, to ensure that transitions and connections occur without disruption. Unlike the dramatic displays of power seen in other gods, Heimdall's influence is subtle, steady, and continuous, like the soft pulse of a heartbeat beneath the surface of the world. His presence reassures all who inhabit the realms that order and vigilance exist even in the most distant corners, that the flow of life is protected and observed. Heimdall's senses are extraordinarily attuned, extending far beyond human perception. Imagine him hearing the faintest whispers of the wind, sensing the subtlest shifts in time and space, and observing the movement of beings across the 9 realms with serene awareness. These abilities are not employed for aggression, but for careful guidance and prevention. He monitors not only the actions of gods and mortals, but also the gentle currents of fate, subtly ensuring that disturbances are noticed before they grow into conflicts. The myths portray Heimdall as a guardian whose strength lies in observation, foresight, and patient vigilance, a reminder that protection often requires quiet attention rather than overt action. The Bifrost itself, the shimmering rainbow bridge, serves as both Heimdall's domain and a symbol of connection. Imagine standing on the bridge, feeling the gentle sway beneath your feet, the quiet hum of energy coursing through it, and the subtle light reflecting the harmony of the realms. Heimdall's watchful presence ensures that this passage remains a stable link between worlds, a place of transition that is both safe and harmonious. His guardianship reflects a deep understanding of balance, illustrating that vigilance is most effective when it operates in rhythm with natural flows and cycles rather than through forceful control or sudden intervention. Heimdall's role is also one of mediation, a quiet stabilizing force amidst potential tension. Picture him observing a gathering of gods, each with their own concerns and ambitions, sensing subtle shifts in mood and intention, and guiding outcomes through presence rather than confrontation. His calm authority and awareness allow conflicts to be addressed before they escalate, emphasizing that protection and influence can be achieved without overt dominance. The myths suggest that true guardianship lies in the anticipation and gentle redirection of potential disturbances, demonstrating the enduring power of measured observation and thoughtful action. The myths often describe Heimdall as tireless, never resting, always attuned to the flow of the realms. Imagine him standing through long nights and shifting seasons, his senses absorbing the quiet changes in the world, always ready to respond if the balance is threatened. His vigilance is not frantic or anxious. It is steady, deliberate, and harmonious with the rhythm of the cosmos. This portrayal conveys a calm lesson to the listener, that true responsibility and guardianship require patience, attentiveness, and endurance, and that strength manifests not only in dramatic action, but in continuous, quiet presence. Heimdall's extraordinary sight allows him to perceive subtle variations across space and time, from distant lands to hidden corners of the nine realms. Imagine him observing a small stream, a hidden glade, or a remote mountain pass, aware of every movement, sound, and vibration. Through this quiet attentiveness, he maintains a balance of the realms, ensuring that even the smallest details are accounted for. The myth suggests that awareness and foresight are as important as physical strength or magical ability, and that the most profound influence can arise from steady observation, reflection, and anticipation rather than from overt displays of force. Even in moments of potential danger, Heimdall's presence is a stabilizing force rather than a source of alarm. Picture a distant threat approaching, perhaps a giant moving across a frozen plain or a subtle shift in the flow of events, and imagine Heimdall responding with calm deliberation. His intervention is precise, measured, and intentional, maintaining order without unnecessary disturbance. The myths frame him as a guardian whose power lies in his ability to observe, assess, and act when necessary, emphasizing that vigilance, patience, and insight are the foundation of enduring security and balance. Heimdall's role also highlights the interconnectedness of the nine realms. His watch over the Bifrost ensures that travel, communication, and interaction between worlds occur safely and harmoniously. Imagine the quiet ripple of energy as beings traverse the bridge, the soft glow of the rainbow reflecting their passage, and Heimdall's steady gaze ensuring that each transition unfolds smoothly. This imagery underscores a recurring theme in Norse mythology, that balance and continuity are maintained through awareness, careful guidance, and the gentle orchestration of complex interactions, rather than through abrupt or forceful intervention. The myths further suggest that Heimdall's vigilance is a form of subtle teaching, a demonstration of the importance of mindfulness, patience, and attention to detail. His presence encourages gods, mortals, and other beings to act with awareness, to recognize the consequences of their actions, and to navigate life with foresight. Picture him observing a young god learning to navigate challenges, offering silent guidance through example, showing that calm attentiveness and careful consideration are forms of strength that ripple outward to shape outcomes over time. In this way, Heimdall embodies a quiet wisdom that underlies effective leadership and guardianship. Even in the dramatic narrative of Ragnarok, Heimdall's vigilance retains its calm, measured quality. Imagine him standing at the edge of the Bifrost as the nine realms shift and tremble, aware of each movement, sound, and vibration, prepared to act only when necessary. His role in the myths is not to incite panic or dramatic confrontation, but to provide measured protection, maintaining order and ensuring that the natural cycles of the cosmos continue. The myths suggest that even during moments of upheaval, balance can be preserved through steady observation, patience, and precise action, reinforcing the serene, reflective approach of Norse storytelling. As you imagine Heimdall in your mind, sense the calm, continuous rhythm of his watchful presence. Picture the soft glow of the Bifrost, the quiet hum of energy flowing through the bridge, and the gentle sway of the nine realms beneath his gaze. Feel the steady reassurance of the guardian who observes without rush, acts with deliberation, and maintains harmony through patience and awareness. His role is a meditation in vigilance, teaching that true influence and protection arise from understanding, mindfulness, and the quiet orchestration of forces that might otherwise remain unseen. Through Heimdall, the myths offer reflection on responsibility, attentiveness, and the subtle power of calm observation. He reminds the listener that strength manifests not only in action, but in patience, foresight, and consistent presence. Imagine following his gaze across distant mountains, rivers, and forests, sensing the quiet stability that his watch provides, and letting this calm awareness settle into your mind and body. The lessons embedded in his stories are gentle but profound. Vigilance, like wisdom, is most effective when steady, patient, and harmonized with the natural rhythm of the world. In this quiet meditation, Heimdall becomes more than a guardian. He is a symbol of the subtle, enduring forces that maintain balance and order in life. As you picture him standing watch over the Bifrost, his senses attuned to every ripple of sound and movement, allow his presence to become part of your own awareness. Feel the steady pulse of vigilance, the soft guidance of continuous observation, and the calming rhythm of careful protection, preparing the mind for the unfolding stories and gentle lessons that continue to weave the tapestry of Norse mythology. The world begins in the void of Ginnungagap, a quiet emptiness where fire from Muspelheim meets ice from Nibelheim, and the first forms slowly emerge. From this gentle meeting arises Ymir, the primordial giant, whose body becomes a foundation of the world. Mountains, rivers, forests, and seas are shaped from his being, each element forming with calm deliberation. Odin, Vili, and Ve, gods of foresight, carefully craft Midgard for humans, enclosing it as a safe and harmonious space amidst the 9 realms. Each realm occupies a deliberate place within the cosmic order. Asgard above, home to the gods, Vanaheim, Alfheim, Svartalfheim, and the others balance below. Energy flows subtly between realms, maintaining interconnection and harmony. The sun, moon, and stars move in steady, predictable rhythms, guiding life and reflecting order. Rivers and seas flow with quiet persistence, shaping landscapes and nourishing life, while Yggdrasil, the world tree, connects all realms, its branches and roots supporting beings seen and unseen. Humanity emerges gently, asked and Embla given life and consciousness by the gods. The myths emphasize patient creation, observation, and balance. Everything unfolds with calm purpose, illustrating the interconnectedness of all things. The quiet shaping of the 9 realms teaches that order arises not from chaos, but through mindful guidance, gentle influence, and a harmonious flow of energy, forming a universe where life, balance, and renewal exist together. Ragnarok, the prophesied end, unfolds as a slow, inevitable transition rather than sudden chaos. Signs appear quietly. Seas stir, forests rustle, and skies darken. Fenrir awakens, Jormungandr stirs in the ocean depths, and subtle shifts ripple across the 9 realms. The gods respond with calm foresight. Odin observes with wisdom, Thor stands ready with strength, and Loki weaves a subtle influence. Battles occur with deliberate rhythm. Odin confronts Fenrir, Thor battles Jormungandr, and other beings navigate their roles with awareness and purpose. Even the natural elements participate. Flames rise steadily from Muspelheim, waters surge, and skies shift, all part of the inevitable transformation. Despite destruction, the myths emphasize balance, showing that endings are steps in the ongoing cycle life. Survivors emerge into renewed harmony. Bald returns, humans lift and Liftrazers step into Midgard, and the realms settle gently into balance. Ragnarok illustrates that loss and change are not final, but opportunities for renewal. The stories encourage reflection, patience, and resilience, showing that even dramatic endings follow a calm rhythm, and that transformation carries the quiet promise of new beginnings, a meditation on the cycles that shape all existence. Norse mythology leaves a timeless legacy, offering gentle lessons through stories of gods, heroes, and the 9 realms. These myths emphasize balance, showing that light and darkness, creation and destruction, coexist in harmony. The interconnectedness of all things is clear. Every action ripples through the realms, demonstrating the quiet power of awareness and mindfulness. The stories highlight subtle influence and resilience. Freya nurtures growth, Heimdall observes vigilantly, and even Loki's clever mischief shapes outcomes with calm effect. Ragnarok teaches acceptance of change, showing that endings are part of natural cycles, and that renewal follows transformation. The myths also reflect principles of thoughtful leadership, patience, and deliberate action, reminding listeners that quiet observation and steady guidance can shape life more effectively than force. Through poetic imagery, the branches of Yggdrasil, the shimmer of the Bifrost, and the rhythms of sun and moon, these tales encourage relaxation, introspection, and reflection. Listeners are invited to see patterns, cycles, and interconnections, finding calm and insight within the stories. Norse mythology offers meditation on life's rhythms, resilience, and harmony, leaving a gentle, enduring impression that the quiet, patient, and mindful guidance of forces, whether divine or natural, shapes existence, carrying lessons that continue to resonate through time.